have some concerns about Kadarius Toney. We always have, but the upside for Toney has been so huge that we sit here and contemplate whether the cost of entry is worth it given the ADP and given the risk involved. I think that there are two ways to look at this situation. For those that don't know, Kadarius Toney to miss some time. He tweaked his knee yesterday, and Reed and staff have come forward saying he could miss some time, but expected to be there for week 1. Before everybody jumps right into this and says, I'm out, he's never going to stay healthy, there are important ways to look at this, similar to the Kenneth Walker situation when we had Zach Charbonnet land on roster, okay? Zach Charbonnet lands on roster, and then all of a sudden everybody starts freaking out. Kenneth Walker garbage. Kenneth Walker, don't go near him. Kenneth Walker, he's done. But then when you exit the room, close the door, refresh your mind and thinking, walk back in said door, and you look around the room, you say to yourself, okay, new cost of entry, new value, new risk assessment. So our job here today is to determine whether we just avoid him altogether, whether we cuff him, whether we wait and let the dust settle and see if his ADP falls to the 7th or 8th round. Because if it does, there's a whole different cost of entry and risk versus reward assessment that needs to take place. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, definitely some stuff to talk about here today that relates to Kadarius Toney, the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Sky Moore, even Justin Ross. There are a lot of players that get impacted if Kadarius Toney goes down. There's a lot of players that get impacted in ways that we have to, reassess the situation every time something happens because the pecking order changes and maybe Kadarius Toney ends up becoming, a steal or a total avoid. Now, the news today, let me read this to you guys so you guys have this information. First of all, thank you for everybody being in the live stream. First in the building today was Lone Sentinel, followed by Nathan, followed by Jeb, D-Class, Brandon. Appreciate you all being here. Kadarius Toney, according to Adam Schefter, Kadarius Toney is to miss some time during training camp after aggravating an old knee injury. Schefter notes that Toney underwent an off-season cleanup procedure, which is basically when you go ahead and you have potentially some torn meniscus that needs to be either recut just a little bit because you got some uncomfortable potential like pain because it's snagging or something. Not the end of the world from a season to season perspective. Over time, this is what AJ Brown continues to have done in some ways, and that puts AJ Brown in a little bit of a vulnerable position going forward because you're cutting away that padding. Think of it like brake pads. If you were to go in and slice layers off one side of your brake pads, your car would lean, and eventually that out of alignment type of situation is going to start wearing on different parts of the car, right? Same thing with the knee. Now, one cleanup is not necessarily the end of the world. I'm not trying to paint a bleak picture about Kadarius Toney and his long-term value. However, this guy does have a problem staying healthy. The cleanup procedure could have also just been some sort of floating cartilage or meniscus that was in the way and just causing some uncomfortable pain. Doesn't necessarily mean there's tremendous damage, but this is not good news. It's not ideal by any means, and we're sitting here asking ourselves, do we invest in Kadarius Toney at a new cost of entry versus the current, what was 6th to 7th round cost of entry? We're talking about 6.5 to about 7.4. That's where Kadarius Toney's been falling. The question is, do we like him at 7.5 to 8.5? And so, I can understand initial reactions being very, very, very pessimistic. I can understand people saying, hey, Smitty, I'm not going near this one. And I don't blame you at all. I don't think anybody's taking a lap if that's their stance or anything like that. I just would say before you start knee-jerk reacting to the point where you're not going to draft him, maybe hear out where his ADP is going to fall. In an underdog draft I did today, he did fall into the mid to late seventh round, and that's a little later than he's been falling. So if he was to fall into, let's say, 8.2, 8.4, I mean, I'm in, and then I'm drafting Sky Moore, and I'm cuffing together the two. Sky Moore is probably going to climb now that Kadarius Toney's falling. Justin Ross is probably going to climb now that Kadarius Toney is falling. I don't think they go past and rise up above Kadarius right now unless some more bad news breaks, but I imagine the gap gets closed a lot. I imagine the cost of entry is still very, very nice. And I'd probably say this. I'd probably say, if anything, the overall KC wide receiver room becomes a lot more affordable in general. So if you're in a best ball draft, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty, I'll drop that link right now in the live stream. And if you guys want to draft with us Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can draft with us on Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. If let's say Tony goes at the 8.5 range and Sky Moore climbs up but doesn't pass him, I venture to say that in best ball, I'm going to go Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, get it all buttoned up and literally not pay anything above 8.5 round value for the entire Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver room. I think that's an important thing to consider when you're drafting Mahomes in a best ball. You got Mahomes Kelsey, Pacheco. You're trying to do the KC build. I think in best ball, I'm not very detoured. In redraft, with your buddies where it's not best ball, I'm a little more concerned than I was. I have to truly assess where he falls in redraft even before I start considering him a guy I want to buy into. As Vamp just said, Jahan Dotson just got more expensive. If I'm on the clock, and this is changing, this is evolving because of the injury. If I'm on the clock right now today, I'm drafting Dotson over Kadarius Toney without even a hesitation. Like in a heartbeat, I'm doing that. Now, a week ago, we may have drafted Toney sometimes, Dotson other times, depending on the best ball build that we're doing. And right now, we're mostly best ball drafting, right? Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. In a redraft, I don't know that I can confidently tell you to go get this man at cost because I don't know what cost is, but I do believe we need to let the dust settle before we give a locked and loaded, cemented in assessment because this team's still very, 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 very high on him, and he is a playmaker. But I feel like I'm still in best ball going to be in at 8th, 9th round territory because I can cuff him. But I'm only drafting him if my objective is to cuff him to Sky Moore and Justin Ross and just button up that entire KC wide receiver room at 8.5 round plus value, preferably 9. Although I don't know that Sky Moore is going to go much later than round 9, and wouldn't shock me if Sky Moore climbed above Kadarius Toney. And honestly, on the Moon Man list, either we move Toney to the Satellite Man list and create room for one more Moon Man, or we add Sky Moore, Justin Ross trio, and we call it the best ball triple stack special, or we probably take off Toney, I think, for the time being, because we don't want a guy that's super, super injury prone, and he's got the upside. We all know the upside's there, taking up a Moon Man spot. So the Moon Man list right now.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
We got to decide if we're going to move this Kadarius Toney character to the Satellite Man list.
Space Moon says.
Or do we just add the KC wide receiver room as the Moon Man extraordinaire? So I'll be taking phone calls and talking about this with you guys. The phone lines are open right now. Dial on in. I imagine about 90% of you are going to be so pessimistic on this, and I don't blame you. But I guess I'm going to try and talk some of you off the ledge of avoiding him at all costs if he ends up costing you a 9th round pick and you can cuff him to Sky Moore. You know what I'm saying? All right, Hit me with the phone calls. Let's dial in and talk about it.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All I know is thank God people didn't listen to Steven, who said, draft him in the 3rd round, take a chance. Remember that? So you got to draft this guy in the 3rd round, take a chance. Remember that, Steven? What are you talking about? Learn ADP, Steven. Learn ADP, for goodness sakes. Something tells me Hines fell off a jet ski or something. He didn't just get randomly injured. A lot of people talking about Nyheim Hines not going to the ocean. Stay out of the ocean. Stay out of the bay. Stay out of the lake. J.R. Decker dropping a super chat. Is a moon man list not a moon? It's a moon man list, not moon men list. It's the moon men list, bro. It's the moon man list. It's the moon men list. It's both of them, Deckard. You could call it either one. Grammatically speaking, it's the moon men list. It's a moon man list. It's both of them. It's both of them, Deckard. Anybody on the moon can be categorized a spaceman, essentially, if we want to say spaceman list. Isaac with a $2 hauler, appreciate you. Tucker dropping the $5.99 wad on screen. Tucker says, thoughts on Cup or Hill at the 1.4. I take Bijan all day long over both those guys. I take Bijan at 1.3. I'm aiming, should I aim for that spot? JJ, CMC, Chase will most likely be gone. Well, then it's Bijan. It's Bijan all day long at 1.4. I take him ahead of CMC. You know that, Tucker. You know that's how I think on this channel. You know this is the man that we're getting behind. This is the #1 running back in the National Football League right now, tomorrow, in Week 6, in Week 10, at Week 17's end, walking into 2024. His name is Bijan Robinson.
Hi, my name is Bijan Robinson. I like long walks on the beach. And, well, I also like scoring.
Dial into the show. Let's get some phone calls and conversation going around Kadarius Toney. And I don't want to just hear I'm out, at all costs. I want to hear where you might be able to get this man in a way that you feel comfortable. So my name is Bijan, says Chester. Appreciate you. Corey, I don't know what you're referencing, but we have a train that I've been conducting called the Bijan Robinson train, pal. Okay? So why don't you get on board? Get on board, or actually, you know what, Corey, just for that comment, I'm taking away your Bijan card and I'm not returning it. You don't get it back no matter what you say.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Nobody let Corey think he's got his Bijan card back. I don't care if it's mid-season and he jumps on this train. He's not getting on. He's not getting on at all. Not worried about Tony. Wait and see, says Steven. Steven, you said to draft this man in the 3rd round. Remember when you called in and said that? And we said, Steven, what in the hell are you talking about? You got to draft him at his ADP, not the 3rd round, Steven. Just Sherman says 103 and 104, 2 leagues, take Bijan in both. I don't mind mixing things up, but I would. I'm not scared of it. I don't mind. I don't care about crashing and burning a season when I can also, on the flip side, smash 2 different leagues because of some genius move. You know what I'm saying, bro? So I'm not scared of that. I don't put all my eggs in one basket with risky players. Example, Kadarius Toney. I've been a big proponent in drafting him at cost, 6.5, 7th round. But he's not somebody I draft in every league, and you can't, because there's risk to him that you can't bank on. So there's a big difference between a Bijan Robinson, a big risk between going Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave. Those guys I'm going all in on, and I'll put all my eggs in one basket in a sense with those guys. But guys like Tony, guys like J.K. Dobbins, guys like Justin Herbert, who are coming off a shaky year, guys like Nick Chubb, who finished the year 6 straight games without a touchdown when Deshaun Watson stepped on the field. The guy didn't score again on the ground. He literally was like the monster touchdown scorer of the league, and then all of a sudden Deshaun Watson steps on the field. Vultures changes the flow, and Chubb scores not one single rushing touchdown for 6 straight games with Watson under center. Not to say I'm going away from Chubb. in round 2. I'm saying all my eggs in one basket. No, I don't. So very much depends on the player. Kadarius Toney is somebody that I think people need to have a little bit of patience, let the dust settle. Don't draft him right now at 6.5 anymore. Don't draft him at 6.9. Draft him at 7.5 or later, or just avoid him. Take Sky Moore only, but Sky Moore, I wouldn't put it past Fantasy Worlds to draft Sky Moore ahead of Tony in like 1 or 2 days time. But I think you do need to understand that Kadarius Toney comes with a bunch of risk. If you didn't think that was the case before, I don't know what you were thinking. If you didn't believe there was risk involved here, there's certainly risk involved, and there's going to be risk involved the entire season. Doesn't mean he's done. Doesn't mean he's not coming back. Doesn't mean he's not going to be the number 1 wide receiver in the Chiefs offense in 2023. Certainly still could be, but people are going to have knee-jerk reactions. But you know what I love about this? The knee-jerk reactions, even in a community where we support him probably more than most communities, or we did. It doesn't sound like our community supports Kadarius Toney anymore. If our community's down on him to this degree where I'm seeing nothing but no, told you, no, this is why, oh, no, he's injury prone, ha, 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 he did it, told you, I was right, blah, blah, blah. Everybody in here coming to sound the alarm that they called this or whatever. He was an injury prone player. We all knew that. We all knew he could miss 4 or 5 games during the middle of the season. No one's pointing at us and laughing. We know that's the risk involved. But if anybody's if our community's down on him, I can only imagine the rest of the population's not only kicking him from 6.5 to, let's call it 6.12, not only into 7, but probably into 8, maybe into the top of 9. If Kadarius Toney falls into round number 9, are we really not going to enter back in at round 9 territory? That's my question. Are you really not going to circle back around, jump back on this train, grab Sky Moore, grab Kadarius Toney, grab Richie James if you want? I don't mind that. Darren Evans, whatever your name is. I don't mind that. I like Richie James, but I will say that new wide receivers don't always translate. Young wide receivers and new wide receivers don't always translate in an offense, especially if you look at, even Kadarius Toney coming over. They didn't utilize him enough because it's a very tough offense to learn. I highly doubt Richie James will be versed in it. Justin Ross, Sky Moore will be first up. He's been in the offense. He learned it. They used him in the Super Bowl. He was very, very involved. Sky Moore is like the reverse version of Kadarius Toney. They're on the field at the same time. They could run one play one way. They could run the same play the other way. And literally, these two guys know each other's position like the back of their hand. And so Sky Moore is the one that's going to benefit greatly. Okay, so Sky Moore is first up. So if you're going to draft anybody, draft Sky Moore. Second up, honestly, I don't know if it's going to be Justin Ross on paper, but I think it probably will be if he can stay healthy. He's another one. If someone says Justin Ross to the moon, he's got more injury risk than Kadarius Toney, but I still like him. I still like both of them. I still like the entire wide receiver room. I'll grab it all, scoop it up, and hold it. If you're telling me Toney falls to 9, Sky is in 9-ish, maybe you got to do some kind of weird draft one of them early situation, I'm okay not taking a single wide receiver 3 option until I get to round 9, and I'll grab all 3 straight in a row in a best ball draft. In a redraft, it might be a different story. Redraft, I may move off Kadarius Toney. It just depends. Phone lines open, dial in. Deckard has a $9 hauler. I was trying to say it feels like it should be a single player, not groups of players. You can't get all the moon men. Maybe 2 lists. No, Deckard, that's not it. Deckard, this is the way Dad did it. It's the way I'm doing it. We're not changing the moon men list, Deckard. Not even for $10. Okay? Deckard, I appreciate you, but why don't you duck down for a second, take a lap, come back. We're not changing the moon man list, okay? It's a list of men that are going to the moon, and we did it last year. We did it the year before. Or no, it was last year the first year?
The moon men, dropping loads loads in outer space.
We're not getting rid of the Moon Men list, Deckard.
Space Moses.
We may move him off, but we're not getting rid of it, Deckard. Take a lap. Deckard's my boy, though. Deckard, I appreciate that $10 holler. I can't remember the last time I sent a $10 super chatter on a lap. It would be easier to read and follow. No, it wouldn't, Deckard. Somebody show Deckard what's going on here. Deckard, we've been doing this. The Moon Man list is the most appealing, sought-after content I have. You're basically coming to a steakhouse and saying, why don't you serve chicken sandwiches, Bob? Why don't we start serving a nice chicken tender? Okay, it'd be easier for me to chop on. Deckard, we are the Moon Men. That's what we do. We got a Mars Men card. We got a Moon Men card somewhere around here, Deckard. We got the Mars Men list. What are we going to do? Mars Man?
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Man.
Look at these bad boys. Look at these bad boys. $10 lap. Love you, Smitty. Deckard, I love you back. I hope, Deckard, you look like you got thick skin. You know, it looks an awful lot like me. Okay, appreciate you, Deckard. Take your lap, come back. Let's regroup. Rinse and repeat. I would like that phone line to ring. I don't know if maybe I broke it. That's probably why it isn't working. Let me go ahead and restart it because that's a little odd. We haven't had a phone call. Even more odd that I didn't notice that the phone line was probably broken because we hadn't had a phone call yet. Restarting, resetting, no panic on Tony Smitty, not yet, says AC. For the first time in a long time, I think we agree, no panic on him, but you have to let his ADP fall. If you're going to still draft him high, I wouldn't draft him in the 6th round. No way. Not after another injury. No way. But I don't have to. I don't have to because the man's value has just dropped. Okay, here's Deckard. Deckard's probably Deckard. I know you're running you're running a lap right now, so you know if you need to take a breather real quick.
I'm a little out of breath.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
Yeah. Okay, Deckard, what can I do for you? First of all, are you drafting Kadarius Toney under new circumstances, Deckard? Don't have a knee-jerk reaction here. Let me lay it all out for you. Let's say the 6.5 to 7.1 overall player Kadarius Toney falls to 8.10. Are you taking Kadarius Toney at 8.10 under any circumstance, whether it's a cuffing situation, or are you taking him at 9.1 if he falls to your ninth drafted player?
I'd definitely take 9.1. Yeah.
9.1. Okay. Is that your line? And it's okay if it is. I'm trying to
probably is. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say so. 8 might be a little bit high now for me. I took him in a bunch. You know, I've cut him with the check a whole bunch of times. So.
Look, for every negative piece of news out there, your boy Smitty's here to dig through the weeds and find a positive. And the positive here could be Sky Moore. Or it could be similar to the Kenneth Walker situation where the positive is actually the player that got most negatively affected because the cost of entry becomes so knee-jerk cheap that we're like, let's get back in. So I think Sky Moore's the benefactor here. For sure. Okay, so if I was to come out of this...
I called you to explain my movement thing. I wasn't saying get rid of the list or nothing like that. But if you're going to have 3 people that need to equal a movement, maybe put them all in a little rocket symbol together. That way people would know they're grouped together and they got to have all of those people to equal one
so
moon.
You're talking about like just when there's a trio? Well, let's take a look at it and I'll show you what I did.
The Moon Men, dropping loads in outer space.
So I don't know how complicated this looks to you, Deckard, but I mean,
Space Moses.
it says Pacheco in cuffs, and it shows both of them, and it's got one red box, and this says Charbonnet and Walker in one box with both of them side by side. I don't really know how confusing it is, Deckard, to be honest with you. But hold on 1 second. 810. What's your name? What's your name and where are you calling from?
Dan from Michigan.
Dan from Michigan. Dan, wait real quickly while I help Deckard, and then I'll come back. I'll circle back around. Try to keep the mouth breathing to it.
No
problem.
I get
no
it.
problem.
I'm not criticizing it. I'm not saying it's wrong. But now that it's changed, it's like, where's Tony's cuffs at? I don't see him.
Well, it hasn't changed. I haven't. This just happened. Today.
I'm giving you a hard time, man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Decker, take another lap. All right. Hold on, Decker.
All right, bro.
Decker, hang on the phone real quick, and I want to see if you have any other questions. I want to keep you on the panel here, Decker. Don't go anywhere. Rock out some Marsman. So he gets helped immediately. Then I'm going to head on over to Dan. Marsman, rock out. Are you drafting Kadarius Tony at 9.1 if he falls to 9.1?
I would.
I
like
would
a
too.
good buy-in. And you see my super chat?
No, let me look for it. Would you buy Tony at 9.1 now? Let me put this up on screen because that is really the question at hand, and I want everybody to really focus on a potential different angle here versus Freak Out City. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to come in and just want to, and I don't blame anybody if they ultimately think about it and they're like, I'm out. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do. Isaac says, imagine Buffalo pick up Dalvin since Hines is out. Yeah, Buffalo becomes a player. That's another potential situation. Deckard, appreciate your $9.99 holler again, my guy. Thank you so much, and for the $2 one, and for the $2 one. Hang tight, I'm coming back to you. Rock out with a super chat. You gotta risk it with Tony to make that money. So risk it for the biscuit, says rock out. As long as you cuff him, I think it's a very, very fun entry in best ball, at least. Maybe in redraft, I rethink it in a day or so. But in best ball, where it's decided for you, you just cuff Sky Moore. Like, part of me wonders if Sky Moore doesn't climb as much as we think, but Tony definitely falls as much as we think. Then it's like a best of both worlds situation. If they both are sitting back to back, where Sky Moore's going at 8.10 and Tony's going at 8.11, that could present a problem unless you've got like back-to-back 8 and 9 round picks or something weird like that. You know what I mean? So there's definitely different angles to this. I don't think anybody should put a blanket statement or a blanket type of thinking over the situation because it's going to be very, very case dependent and situation to situation dependent. Vino with the $10 holler says 14 team 1 point PPR every 10 yards. Let's see, 1 point per every 10 yards PPR. Sorry. I'm sitting at pick number 9. Bijan is there. Will you take him even with this point system where wide receiver is king? I mean, bro, let me put it this way, Vino. In a PPR, 3 wide receiver requirement, 2 running back, full PPR, I'm drafting Bijan number 3 overall over Christian McCaffrey. He's going to be a force in the PPR game, my guy. He's going to catch 50-plus receptions as a rookie, at least 45, 50. I'd be disappointed if it was 45, to be honest with you. And that's a good year for a rookie catching passes. Bijan's going to easily total, I think, 1,800 yards. This could be a 2,000-yard rookie running back. Total yard, 2,000 yards, rookie running back. Remember, there's an extra game now. Getting 2,000 yards will be a little easier than in the past. But a 2,000 total yard player with 45, 50 receptions minimum, 14-plus touchdowns in my opinion. He's my number 3, Vino. My number 3 over Christian McCaffrey in PPR in the exact scoring setting you listed. The only difference between like me drafting him number 1 or number 3 is that if this was a non-PPR, 2 wide receiver mandatory, 2 running back mandatory, and an additional flex, meaning you could go 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers, and it's non-PPR, I'd take Bijan 1 overall. So just to give you a little sense of my how I measured this thing. Let me go to, okay, Deckard, appreciate you. I think I got all the super chats caught up. Thank you, Rockout. Let me go over real quickly, Rockout, if you don't mind, and you can just interject after.
Yeah, you're good.
Let me hit Dan real quick, then I'm going to go to Jonathan, then I'm going to go to Cali Loco. So, Dan, are you drafting Kadarius Tony at 9.1 if tomorrow morning he's sitting there at 9.1 because of this news?
I think I am. My whole team's been plagued with injuries like year after year after year. So I'm like the waiver wire king about right now.
Yeah,
I ain't lying. But I just this ain't my question or anything. But did you know that C.J. Gardner got carted off the field? Lions number 2 draft hit.
Yeah, so the Lions cornerback's going to be okay. It sounds like he avoided disaster, so that's all good. I had people like DMing me, hey, Sauce Gardner went down. I'm like, no, he didn't, bro. But yeah, no, the Lions took a deep breath. They held that breath until the news broke. Looks like he's gonna be okay. So that's good news. I mean, the news. Let me put the news on screen just so you can see it for yourself. Definitely good news that came out of that.
Yes, the Lions can't ever catch a break, man.
Yeah, I mean it was horrible. So it's the best case scenario as Adam Schefter reported on it. Let me put this on screen here so you can see it, and I'll read it off to everybody. But we were thinking ACL, non-contact injury usually means ACL, but you can't be certain. You know, you never know. You always want to, hold out hope that a player didn't tear their ACL. In the case of Breece Hall, we were skeptical that there was a torn ACL, but you never know. You think it's a torn ACL. Look at Zach Wilson, the quarterback for the Jets, when we thought he tore his ACL and he didn't. So you always kind of wonder, but when it's non-contact, you usually can lean ACL because that's usually a non-contact knee injury. Sir Dev says hit that thumb up button. We got 65 likes and we have 184 people live in the live stream. So hit that.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah, rookie. Those are rookie number. We can pump those up hardcore. Let me see if I can get this
Bad rookie numbers
thing on the screen here. Hold on. Let me send it a different way because it's not airdropping to my system. So hold on. Let me get in here and drop this on. This is the Gardner news. Okay, Adam Schefter reporting that this is best case, as Adam Schefter said, and it's true. The MRI on Lions corner C.J. Gardner-Johnson revealed no structural damage to his knee and is considered day-to-day at this time. I'm told great news for a huge part of Detroit's reshaped offense. We love this guy. We love this offense. We love this defense. This defense is going to be very impressive, and Gardner-Johnson was going to be a big component and will be for that D, which is going to support the offense. So it all cascades. This would be not as significant as Sauce Gardner going down, but if Sauce Gardner did go down, that would be devastating because of the impact that it would have to the offense, the defense, the field position. You know what I mean? Like Sauce Gardner's as important to Aaron Rodgers as Garrett Wilson. People think I'm all offense. I only think offensively. I don't. Sauce Gardner was my number one player in the top 10 in that draft class his rookie year. And I was not quiet about it. I made noise about that, saying Sauce Gardner is the number one pick in this top 10. This is the top guy. This is the guy you get. This is the guy that transforms your defense. And so, it's good. It's good news. He's not as impacting as Sauce, but the Lions needed this kid. Yeah, and so that's good news. What else you got, pal?
Yeah, something that I deal with, it seems like every year, and I'm not sure if you touch on this very often, but I wonder if you do have a stout team, right, and they're in your lineup, and they're just not producing. And it's just like, am I really going to put these guys on my bench right now? And you got these big-name guys, and they're on your bench, and I know that you got to work the waiver wire and stuff like that on injury and stuff like that. But, I mean, how do you deal with, how much time do you give a certain player in your lineup before you're like, what? This is enough, man.
Case by case, bro. There's no blanket statement for half of the things that people actually answer that they shouldn't be answering. Like, I can't give you an answer on that. There's no blanket statement. Is it a guy slumping that I'm like, holy crap, buy low? And then that's week one, right? We come out of week one. Let's say St. Brown has 40 yards. Two receptions, 40 yards, no touchdowns. Panic is kind of ensuing. Okay, maybe this guy isn't what we thought. Maybe Detroit's going to suck. You'd be surprised at how many people will think like that after 1 week. We sound logical right now as a fantasy football, species. We sound logical. We sound calm and collected. But even some of you laughing right now that are watching and says, oh, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would. Yes, you would. A lot of you would. Why? How do I know that? Because my own community, I have to calm the storm to a significant degree. Like when Walker was handed Charbonnet, even I had about 5 minutes of digesting that where I'm like, crap. Mainly because it wasn't so much about Walker. It was about Walker's so good and Charbonnet's so good, one of them will not be king. And that really bothered me at first. But as I started to digest it and look at it, it took me like weeks to get a lot of you back on the Kenneth Walker in round 4, train. To get you back onto that train, some of you watching right now, it took forever. because you just had the negative vibe going. You didn't look at, okay, this is a different value, different entry point, different angle, different perspective, different glasses are on. I got different vision now. So, like, bro, I have no idea how to answer that question if it's not case by case basis, because every year there's somebody that slumps for 3, 4, 5 weeks. If St. Brown came out with 40 yards, 2 catches, no touchdowns, and busted on people in week 1, I would be telling you to buy unless I knew something. If he did it 2 weeks in a row, buy. Did it 3 weeks in a row, 40 yards, 50 yards, 45 yards, buy. Because I believe in the man, and 3 weeks do not define him unless there's something else going on that I don't know about. Now, at a certain point, even I'm going to be like, okay, I don't know what's going on. He's injured and we just don't know it. There will be something that we look at. But, bro, look. I
have JT and Andrews on my bench last year for a good spell, and I looked on my bench and I was like, I can't believe these guys are on my bench right now.
And to be fair, I thought Andrews was going to bounce back once he got healthy.
Me too.
And he didn't. So, like, you don't know. Everything's case by case, and sometimes.
But at that point, I was like, it was too late, man. I was like already in it with JT and Andrews, and my season was like over more than halfway through, and then I'm like. And then my luck, I'll be, I'll miss the boat on when they're supposed to go in and they pop off. And
okay,
I know what you're saying.
All right,
you can't really tell.
Hang tight, real quick, Dan. And who was trying to talk when Dan was talking? They were trying to interject. All right, let's go over to Cali Loco. Cali Loco, you're live.
Hey, how's it going, Spitty?
What's up?
Hey, I'm going. I'm hoping it's based on who I play with as far as fantasy football, but I would definitely handcuff him to the youngster you mentioned, the rookie from last year. But Tony, he's got so much talent, he can't contain it in his body. That's why sometimes he ends up getting hurt. It's almost like Swift. That's how I view him. Maybe he needs to headbutt his position coach. Might snap him out of it.
Yeah,
remember that when he had his best game of all time, and his coach is just trying to talk to him, and he headbutts him. Maybe he needs one of those.
Yeah, maybe. But the thing about Tony, and again, it comes down to this. I understand people don't want to believe it, or it's the sample size that bothers them. But second in the NFL in targets per wide receiver route run in 2022. The 29% was his rate, 29.4%. And that was behind Kelsey, who was 27%. Now, granted, the volume was different, but it is meaningful when a player does go on the field and is second in the NFL in targets per route run. Like that is a crazy stat when you think about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's 40 targets, 30 targets, 85 targets. It's a significant enough targets to say when the Chiefs put him on the field, they're throwing to him. When he's on the field, they're throwing to him more. What's that noise? What's going on in the background there?
Sorry, that's me. I'm at work right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm
all right,
on a shift.
Yeah,
mute. These are boxes get moved.
Okay,
it's
no problem.
Just
mute real quick while I just get through this. No problem. Just trying to figure out what it was. Sound like someone's blowing their nose.
That's Cali Loco. Yeah, sorry.
No problem, Kelly. If Tony's on the field, I don't want to talk about sample size. It's a big enough sample size to think it's significant enough to talk about. And I'm not saying this would continue through an entire season, but it's important to say, hey, this is impactful. That's all I'm trying to argue. I'm not trying to argue he'll be number 2 in the National Football League in targets per route run. I'm merely saying this number is staggeringly helpful. I don't think Cali Loco put it on mute.
No, hey, but just before I go, he's a player with, when he's on the field playing.
20.
I'll use the other.
On the field playing, he's the second most targeted player in the league. Targets per route run. You can't argue the stat. You can't argue the stat. All right, later, Kelly. Call in when you're not moving pallets. Right, we got you.
All right.
And you can call in when you're moving pallets. I don't care. I just I know you're having a tough time probably staying safe. Jonathan Cortez, you're live on the Fantasy Football Show. My question to you, young man, before you say a word, is would you draft Kadarius Toney at 9.1 in a draft today or not?
Hell no.
Okay,
There's
he's
no
out.
way.
That's our first out. We've heard a lot of yeah, and honestly, I'm a yeah. At 9.1, I'm a yeah because I'm going to cuff him to Tony, and I'm going to get the cheapest wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, because if I've got Tony and I've got Sky Moore and I even come in and grab Justin Ross, I believe I have the cheapest wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, especially in best ball when you don't have to make a single decision and it's literally the person started for you. You're never going to get it wrong. You're always going to get it right in best ball. Redraft, I can understand a little bit more of maybe 9.1 I'm still not in. I don't know. I got to be put to the test, but tell me why you're out. Is it just you hated Tony anyway?
Honestly, I just feel like he's just such a huge risk injury-wise that I just personally like other players in the 9th round that I feel like are a little bit more safe. Like I feel like I would prefer to draft like a Kincaid or like a second QB or or even Charbonnet. I would prefer to draft one of those like safe players compared to somebody that is always going to be injured. I mean, his legs are just made out of toothpicks. I mean, he can't stay healthy.
I don't know if I'd say that, bro. I mean, I don't think his legs are like this is a knee issue. It's the same knee issue it carried over, and that's not a good thing. But I wouldn't say his legs are made out of toothpicks. I would just say that these fast twitch guys have a tendency to pull hamstrings, get injured because their muscles and their body snaps differently than everybody else when they get off the line. They're literally going at 1,000 miles per hour versus somebody that's running a route at a very significantly different pace and with different twitch and different firing of the muscles. So he is very, very unique to injury, and that does suck. But I still feel like at 9.1 in best ball, like I'm not making a big case for Tony right now on this live stream because I don't have the answers right away. Like some people think, oh, Smitty should know everything right now, and I'm not going to know everything, period, right? I'm going to get stuff wrong anyway. But I still digest stuff. Sometimes I'm like, I just went live. It'd been out for a little bit, but I came back. I went live, and I haven't had time to really, take it in, draft a bunch of drafts. I did one draft just to see where he was going to go. He fell to like I think I said 8.5, something like that. And I believe he'll fall further. I believe he'll fall into 9.1 to 9.5 territory. I really do. Because reading the reaction in here, I thought maybe he'd stay about 8.5. But reading the reaction in here, getting the I'm staying away, he's hurt again, ha ha ha, I told you guys. Like, it's very, very littered, the chat, with negativity in it. And that's fine. I'm not ripping on anybody for getting upset over injuries and saying I'm out. I understand it. But my guess is based on reading the chat. We're looking at 9.1 ADP. In a best ball, I'm all for it if you cuff him. In redraft, I'm not sure yet. I'm just not sure yet, and I'm being honest with everybody. I love him in best ball in the 9th round plus. I just don't know I can sell it yet to myself even at 8th round territory. I just got to see who's around, who like, because everything's going to get jostled around, when one wide receiver falls, multiple wide receivers climb. Sometimes not even one. Sometimes it triggers, a scarcity at the position in that value range to where it triggers some weird market shift. And all of a sudden, 2 wide receivers jump up above running backs that they normally, like, instead of replacing wide receivers, jump above running backs because people are like, okay, Tony was like the last wide receiver 1 potential. Quiet. Nobody knew he was coming, I don't think, and I could have got him as my wide receiver 1 in my flex spot, right? And now that he's being potentially, in a lot of people's minds, raptured, then, Nico says
in a baseball league, I mean, I wouldn't mind drafting him, but like in a redraft league, I mean, I would just prefer to just choose something more safe. But on a best ball, yeah, I would draft him without a doubt because his ceiling is just really high.
Yeah.
So I agree on that for sure.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to tell you that I haven't been able to call in so long because I've been so busy with work and the kids and everything else. But I've been listening to all your videos, man, and I just want to say that I completely agree with all the intakes that you've been saying about Bijan, about Gibbs, Watson. I mean, just all the stuff that you've been posting. I've been agreeing to all those things, and I'm excited, man. I have Bijan in a couple dynasty leagues. I have Gibbs. I have Watson. I have a lot of those moves, man. So I'm really excited for this incoming season. But I did wanted to ask you one quick little thing though. On one of my keeper leagues, I have the opportunity to keep Walker in the 9th round, or keep AJ Brown in the 5th, or Garrett Wilson in the 16th.
Let me fix my camera here. You said Walker in the 9th round?
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get my... Okay, Walker in the 9th round. AJ Brown in the what round?
In the 5th.
And then what was the other one?
I'll say. And Garrett Wilson in the 16th.
Garrett Wilson in the what?
Garrett
Wilson in the what?
In the 16th.
Hands down, Garrett Wilson.
Why are you even asking this question, bro?
Well, hold on. But this is a tricky question. Is that it's a super flex
Laugh
league.
on that one.
It just converted into a super flex league, and I have also Patrick Mahomes in the 6th round.
Okay, but why is he in this? Well, these guys aren't in that conversation. Okay, so Mahomes in the 5th round, and you can only keep one.
So Garrett Wilson is a solid. I mean, I'm going to keep him for sure. I guess it's the other three that I'm more
how many do you get? Hold on, how many do you get to keep?
2.
Okay, this is like a take a lap moment for you. Number one, Mahomes is like the number 1 or number 2 overall pick. Like, you know what I mean? Number 3, number 1, number 2, and you're getting him in the 5th round. Like, that's you could win your league based on that. Like, that's the fact you're even debating that. Little slap on the wrist, okay? Even if this was in round 2, it would be the number 1 keeper for you. Even if it was round 2, you're getting him in the 5th round, bro. That is insane. And Garrett Wilson, you draft over every single one of these guys, or these 2 guys. So why in the hell would you even consider keeping one of these guys over this guy when he's going ahead of him and you get him in the 16th round? You have probably the 2 best keepers in a keeper format, like a 2-keeper format that I've seen this entire offseason. Like this is like win a league material, and you waiver on this. No show for you for 2 weeks, bro.
Oh, come on, man. How you going to do that to me?
No. I'm just joking. I'm saying if you waiver on it going into your decision.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was just curious because, like, I was saying it because, like, because of Walker really is really my biggest concern because, to me, in my eyes, he's the RB1.
Yeah, he is, but he is
him in the 9th round.
He is, bro, but you gotta look at this from one perspective only. Where is Garrett Wilson getting drafted? Top 8. You're keeping him in the 16th round. Where's Mahomes getting drafted? 1, 2, or 3. You're keeping him in the 5th round. Where's Walker getting drafted if you throw him back into the waiver pool? Probably the 3rd or 4th round. Like, or probably 3rd round because it's a keeper. But a super flex. Walker's going in the 3rd round. That means that you get your 1st rounder, you get your 2nd rounder, and you still might get Walker in the 3rd round. Worst case scenario, you draft him in the 2nd round, but you throw Garrett Wilson back, you ain't getting him back. So you got to look at it from like that perspective. It doesn't matter how good you like Walker. Garrett Wilson's going number 8 overall. He's 100,000% the better keeper, even if his keeper round was like round 8 versus Walker's round 9. But it's you're talking about 16. You have the best keepers I have seen this entire offseason with that Garrett Wilson 16 and Mahomes 5th round in terms of like a limited keeper league with round implications. This is the best duo I've ever seen this offseason. So pat on the back for that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get like Bijan with my 1st pick because I'm pretty sure the guy that has JJ and Chase, I'm sure he's going to keep him. So I'm going to try to get that first overall pick and spend it on Bijan. And that would be a nasty little trio to have to start off my season for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you remember, but I was drafting one of my dynasty leagues, and you were helping me with it. The one that I had Justin Fields and
Okay.
and Breeze.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remember that or not.
I kind of do, yeah,
But-
where I told you to take Fields and you didn't want to.
Yeah, because of JJ's, but yeah. So, anyways, but I feel like I destroyed that draft, and I ended up not going too young on that draft, but so many good players just fell to me, and I don't feel like I'm going to stay in this dynasty league very long because there's a bunch of grandmas on that league and a bunch of schools, and
They're gonna quit, bro.
yeah, I don't feel like it's going to last very long. So my team is like, it's nasty, bro. I don't know if you want me to go over it with you.
Just your starters,
think?
just your starters, real quick. Then I got to move on to. You can stay on the phone, but I need to move on a different question. Go ahead, Fields.
All right, so I got Fields at Q. It's a super flex, so I have Fields and Love. I got no, that's not the team. I have running backs. I have Brees Hall, Eckler, and J.K. Dobbins. And wide receivers are Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, Watson, Jerry Jeudy. And my tight ends are Kyle Pitts and
Kincaid
and Dude Buddy from the Titans.
Okonkwo. Nice job, bro. You smashed that.
Okonkwo.
You smashed it. Nice job. All right, hang tight.
I killed it, right?
You did that. You really badly. So much so they're going to quit the league. Good job. Wait it. You bit off a little too much. You got a little greedy, and now you got everybody running. Okay, hang tight. Let me go over to Scuba Steve, who's been waiting patiently. Scuba, what's up, my guy?
Hey, Smitty, what's going on, my man?
What's up?
I have a question, but first, to answer your question, if I'm doing a best ball league, I'm still taking Kadarius Tony 9th round because, like you said, they pretty much set the lineup for you, so you don't really have to worry about him getting injured.
Yeah.
But in a redraft, I'm kind of hesitant just because. Even if he's going up the 9th or 10th round, you're still looking at a guy that he's probably, if you play in those leagues where it's 2 running back, 3 wide receivers, he's probably most likely going to be somebody that you're going to plug in on your bye weeks. The only problem is with him is kind of what you talked about is he could get the target share, but his problem is that he could stay he has he's a high risk, high reward type of player where he could help you win your week, or he could end up putting in a dud because that did happen to him before where literally they said before the game that everybody got injured, and when everybody relied on him and put him in their lineup, he ended up getting hurt his first.
Yeah.
First,
let me just clarify one more time for people just coming in here. As of this moment, I'm not saying I'm not going to draft Kadarius Toney and redraft, but I cannot tell anybody in good conscience to draft him or redraft in best ball at 9th round value, where we think he's going to fall. Because like I said, I did a best ball draft real quickly before this live to see where he'd go, and he went at 8.5-ish. And so that's a knee-jerk reaction, but I think it's going to be more severe as the ADP adapts, because the ADP is going to adjust, and then once it adjusts, that's when people reach or let a player fall. So it has there's 2 levels to an ADP readjustment. It's okay, everyone's still drafting off the old ADP, and they're not sure where to go, and so they let Kadarius Toney kind of sit there for a little while, but it's still very influential to see him as the top ranked wide receiver over the course of 3, 4, 5, 6 picks in a row. And usually a grandma just goes, I got to take him. He's sitting there. Okay, I'll take him. So you don't really know where his ADP truly is right now. But if he does fall to 9.1, my general advice right now for the situation is in best ball, if he's in round 9, you cuff him to Tony. Your lineup's set for you. You maybe get Justin Ross. You maybe get Richie James. All these guys can be consumed very cheaply, and I have no problem going in that direction. And in fact, I still think it's very crafty, especially if you do a KC build. But I'm just being honest right now. I'm not saying I'm out in redraft, but we need to let the dust settle before we start running in. Not to mention a lot of redraft leagues don't happen yet. Some very, very crazy leagues will draft this early in redraft. Most redraft leagues will not draft until 2 weeks after, 2 weeks into August at the very, very earliest, or 1 week into August. So I feel pretty confident in saying that we don't need to have a true, definite, hardcore, cemented in answer right now. But my thinking here is let's pause on Tony and redraft. Let's take him in the 9th right now in best ball. I feel very comfortable with that. Unless Sky Moore climbs up so high that you can't really cuff him and it's a ridiculous attempt. We'll have to adjust it there. But, I mean, look, D-Class says he just got Sky Moore at 119. So, Blind Larry says he just went in the 10th round. I don't know if he's talking about Tony. If that's the case in best ball, I'm in. I'm staying in. I'm just staying in from a different perspective. I'm accepting that there's a huge amount of risk, and him being ready for week 1 but sitting out a majority of camp is going to allow us to get him literally 3 rounds potentially. Blind Larry says 10, round 10. 3 rounds later, I mean, in best ball, that feels comfortable. In redraft, I don't know yet. I have to do a draft before I can jump in and truly give you my real hardcore, take on that. Real quickly, I got to go to Ron Navy. Scuba, do you have any other final question? And you can stay on the line, and then I'm going to circle back to you and a couple other people.
Yeah, I have a question, but because I know that Ron's a moon man. If you want, just
He's a
talk
Mars
to him
man.
first, and then after that, I'll ask.
Hey, he's a Scuba. He's a Mars man. Salute your higher authority with some respect. He's a corporal. He's a Mars man corporal, not a shift manager.
He's a sergeant.
Ron Navy, Corporal Ron Navy.
Corporals, whatever. Let him ask his question. Come back to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Scuba. Ron Navy is one of those drill sergeants that doesn't yell at anybody until you snipe him, and then he comes in hot. Go ahead.
All right, so I don't know if you covered this yet. Josh Jacobs, he flew out, so it doesn't look like he's in good terms with the Raiders that he flew out of Vegas. But my question isn't really on him. It's on Zamir White, and I guess the reason why I'm asking is because I know that you also play in like some dynasty leagues too. And I remember like a while back ago, like sometimes like you take a chance and like it's almost like selling stocks. So with this news, is that something that like people should like try to like put like Zamir White on like the trading block and see what they could get for him, just for the fact that if it looks like Josh Jacobs right now, looks like he's on the same page with the Raiders and like he's looking more likely to hold out. What would you do in that situation? Would you just keep him and see what Zamir White does, or would you just float him out there and see if you can get something for him?
I mean, I would float him out there for sure and see if you can get anything. The best way to trade a player away isn't to just say, who wants Kadarius, or Zamir White? I'm selling him, because then people are going to be like, okay, this guy's trying to get rid of him. Like, you just open up, a very casual trade conversation with people and just say, I got some RBs, I would potentially sell one of them. I don't know if I want to sell Zamir White because Jacobs, did you hear about Jacobs? He flew out, of town. So, like, he's in Cabo right now, from what I hear. And Zamir White to the moon. What other players you potentially looking at? And then all of a sudden you can kind of gauge whether they really want Zamir White. And then you could circle back even and backtrack and just say, well, if I did give up a running back, like let's say Zamir, who would you give me? Like, you just got to approach it in a certain way. But in general, sure. If I don't like Jacobs, the last year's leading rusher in that offense at all, bro, even if he reported today, if I'm not drafting Jacobs anywhere near his cost of entry, you can bet that I'm not like super high on Zamir White either. I think that very much like Rachaad White, I like the player. You obviously know I love Rachaad White, but I'm concerned enough about the situation that I fear that it's just going to be 8-man fronts. It's going to be 3.4 yards per carry. It's going to be limited red zone looks and touchdown opportunities. So, but would I sell him dirt cheap? No, I'd rather hold him, especially if, let's say, Jacobs does pursue this. You might be able to go to the Jacobs owner and give Zamir White to them.
I was about to ask you that too.
That's probably what I would do. But do I think Zamir White's got, amazing value right now? Honestly, I don't think Jacobs takes this all the way to week 1. I think that both is possible, But we've seen it end so badly for any player that's tried it at the running back position. I mean, Lev Bell was just proof that this is not a smart move. But, Jacobs might feel differently about his talents, and we can't really assess that. We don't truly know if Jacobs is sitting there going, I'm so good. I just, took on the world and won last offseason. Last season, I'm the number one leading rusher in the NFL, and I want to keep it that way so that when I go, apply for the next job, and on my resume, I can still say last time I played football, I was the number one rushing yard getter in the NFL, and he can still say that on his resume. Like, maybe that's his mindset, and he's not factoring in that it's going to be hard for a team to buy into him at his previous asking price. He's probably going to get below the $10 million per year because no one's going to pay a guy. I don't care what he did the 2 years prior. No one's going to pay a guy over $10 million a year, I don't think, that has literally been sitting out the entire offseason, and you don't know what in the heck's going to happen when he gets back in there. He's going to be rusty. He's going to get injured. The odds of him coming back and playing elite running back football after sitting out an entire season is very, very low. We've seen Ricky Williams do it. We've seen very few players ever do it. Lev Bell was as good as they come, and that really screwed him up. He got a big contract too, and it was a big waste of money. The Jets just completely overpaid. He's an absolute disaster. Had his worst season, that he's ever had. And so can I put it past Jacobs to do it though? No. But do I think ultimately he comes back and Zamir White's a paper tiger? Like he looks like he's something right now? I'd sell him. Let me go over to Ron Navy real quick. Ron Navy, and then I'll hit Ethan after that, and then circle back around the whole phone line. Ron Navy, what is going on? Do you have any updates for us medical-wise? I saw some chatter in there, and I don't know if you even want to talk about that, but I always kind of leave it up to you.
She went and got her, took her to get her MRI of her brain today, this morning.
Okay.
And then Thursday we have liver biopsy. So,
okay.
But we won't know anything for either one of those probably till next week sometime.
Yeah, keep us posted, please.
Prayers, Ron.
Prayers up for Miss Navy, everybody. Throw it in the chat, please. Let's rain prayer emojis
Thanks,
for at least the next 30 seconds. Just let it fly.
Appreciate it.
Vampy says, are you pushing through to the regular show? Probably at this point, and I don't know how much further I'll go into it, like maybe 4:35, just to get some. I've got the yard guys here where I'm redoing the entire backyard. I've been trying to do this for a while, and I got the yard guys in the backyard. I'm hoping I could swing some kind of discount for promotion and maybe go out there and live stream it and do some progress. I've got your boy Smitty's gonna try to swing a little deal. I don't know if this guy watches football though.
Yep.
You what?
What are they doing?
So
what
we're putting.
You're back.
I want it maintenance free. I'm capable of yard work, but I don't have time for it. So the weeds get out of control.
Oh, you're going artificial turf?
Well, there's a section of it that's going to be artificial turf. And then we're doing pavers across like an entire half of the yard. I got a really big backyard. I got a basketball court that I had installed when I first moved in, and then I didn't do anything around it. So it's a really, really nice basketball court sitting in the middle of the yard, and it's got like dirt and it's just weeds grew everywhere. I had to have someone come back and continue to cut the weeds. And so we're putting pavers everywhere on one side. I actually myself built two pergolas in the middle of the yard that have also had weeds growing around them. So it's going to be very, very nice. I'm going to do live streams back there. I've got the basketball hoop back there. Before it got all bad and it was just grass though, I did some IG live streams on the basketball court, and I do all kinds of stuff on there. So it's gonna be a nice little place to sit and do IG lives, maybe even some YouTube lives and stuff out there. But doing that. Hey Ziggy, show me the backyard. These guys have been hard at work since like 7 a.m. though. Like you can hear the bobcat. Listen to this. There we go. They got the bobcat back there. The bobcat just hit the front yard, so we'll let that go. Ron Navy, my sense is you're probably avoiding Tony at all costs at this point, knowing you, and I think that's a reasonable reaction. But are you kind of thinking like I am, to where I kind of feel like I could get behind that thinking in redraft? Ziggy off. But in best ball,
you want me to stop, right?
Yes. In best ball, are you liking 9? Because Blind Larry just said he got him in the 10th round, or he went in the 10th round. Are you taking Tony at 9 or 10 round territory, cuffing him to Sky Moore and saying to yourself, let everybody freak out to an extreme degree, circle back around, and take a little gamble in a territory where, I mean, who are you taking in the 9th round anyway? You know, like that, to me, that's an okay stab in the dark.
I would, but you're probably not going to like my synopsis of KC right now in general. I'd probably take him in the 9th round or whatever, but I think KC, as of right now, is going to be a huge problem because without Mahomes, they're not going to do nothing. And what I mean by that is,
what do you mean by that?
Look at the situation with Mahomes' brother, right? He did all that crap, and the one thing you don't need is bad PR. And bad PR is bad karma. And bad karma comes back to bite you in the butt. I don't care who you are. Eventually, it'll bite you in the butt, and I'm worried that that's what's going to happen exactly to Mahomes because he acted like an asshole to a young kid asking for an autograph at a celebrity golf tournament recently. It's caught on camera. He denied the kid. I could see denying an adult, but you don't deny a kid. If a kid asks you for an autograph, you sign the damn thing, and so it's a little inconvenient. So what? It's a kid. So I'm off on Mahomes. I'm off on him. I think he's going to have bad karma follow him, and I think he's going to that's my take on it. And you might not agree with me, and that's fine, but that's how I feel about it. And I think Mahomes is probably going to end up, and I'm sorry, he's probably going to end up not even being able to play the full season because karma's going to bite him in the ass.
Breaking news! You heard it from Ron Navy. He spoke. He has had words with the Karma Fairy, and the Karma Fairy has decided. Well, hey, Ron, this will be interesting if it unfolds the way Ron predicted, and then we're gonna have to have like a karma segment every offseason for Ron to predict who's got the most karma.
Sorry,
who's got the most karma risk?
He brought it on himself. He brought it on himself.
I know. I'm saying.
And the thing is, I mean,
I'm
you don't do that to a kid. And I don't care how talented you are and what you think you are. You should always make time for kids because you don't know if these kids are coming up and they don't have no opportunities to meet celebrities all the time and get autographs and whatever. But also, what happens if that kid is like out there and he's got a medical condition? What if he's out there with cancer or whatever and Mahomes is just denying them? These athletes, and that's what got me pissed off about Smith too. He denied. He's here in Pensacola and he denied the kid an autograph.
All right. Hold on 1 second. Let me hit Vino's super chat before these get out of hand here. Thanks, Smitty. 100. I'm only drafting Kadarius in best ball at this current point in ADP, and definitely drop. The drop has what's it? Currently ADP, and definitely the drop he has weak winning potential. Okay, thank you, Vino. Appreciate you. And I agree. In best ball, it's a home run, and that's kind of where my stance is in general. Terry Roberts dropping a super chat, says Family League pick 8 14-teamer this season for me. That's a great pick. I think you get Bijan at number 8, Terry, in your home league. I think that's a great spot to be in. And then you're probably going to get like Garrett Wilson. I know Terry's going to come to us and say, Smitty, I got Garrett Wilson in the 2nd round. I got Bijan in round 1. I got Olave in round 3. I got Gibbs in 4. I got Walker in 5. And Terry's literally going to just mop his league, his entire family league, just mop the floor with him. Let me go over real quickly to Deckard's super chat. So Ron is a Mars man. What if Isaac K and D Class merged their Moonman cards? I think you're saying, would that equal a Mars man? No, you can't. Mars is so far away, bro. You can't take 2 moon shuttles to Mars. That doesn't make sense, Deckard. Again, Deckard. Deckard. I mean, the calculations don't add up. They don't add up, Deckard. They don't add up. 512 caller. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Rodney, calling from San Antonio, Texas.
Rodney, what's up, my guy? Calling from Texas. Are you taking? First of all, you got to answer the question at the door here. You taking Kadarius Tony at 9.1 in any sort of format?
I think that's great value in best ball. He's going to give you some spike weeks, but I would probably look at what other values on the board at that range in a redraft, like a dynasty startup.
You said your name was Rodney? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Rodney.
Third.
Okay. I just entered it in. Rodney from Texas.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Attaboy. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, now what about Sky Moore? You like Sky Moore more? I really think Sky Moore, if he doesn't climb a lot, he could be the real winner here. Not that Tony isn't good value, but, if I had to, stand alone draft one of them, I probably would rather have Sky Moore at this point, but probably because his cost of entry is still, very much back behind Tony. But if Tony falls to 10 and Sky Moore falls to 10, or climbs to 10 or 9, let's say he climbs to 9. Let's say Sky Moore climbs to 9 and Kadarius Tony falls to 10. I like the combo, but if I had to pick one, let's say, their ADPs were, on top of each other, and you could only grab one,
Right.
I think push comes to shove, I'll probably lean Sky initially until the dust settles on this, and maybe I swing back around more in that scenario once we hear more information. But miss some time during camp. The thing we got to understand is that, first of all, this was Adam Schefter. I'm not trying to say Adam Schefter doesn't report well all the time, but this guy does sometimes, get things wrong like any human being. I'm not trying to rip on him in terms of accuracy. I'm just saying there have been some times where he's rushed information out, and I don't blame him. He's trying to compete, with other people, and I think that that we really need to know more information before we can really cement anything in. Because I reserve the right to change my mind on my own show on anything, because that's how I roll. I don't dig my heels in. I don't want people to think I'm just going to back Tony because I've done it all off season long. I can easily, shift over, but I also don't want to shift over then have to shift back, because I've done this before and this isn't my first rodeo. I'm going to ease off a little, but I don't think we know what sometime means. What if it's a week or two? What if it's longer? Then we got to, react differently. But all I know is the ADP is definitely adjusting plenty for me to not have to do anything. You know what I mean? My assessment is mainly I'm backing off because I'm watching the ADP probably fall to 9 or 10 round territory. And for me, that means that I just kind of take my foot off the gas pedal. I'm still going to grab him where I feel comfortable. He was never an all eggs in one basket player for me anyway. So I'm still going to take him in a very small percentage of leagues like I was before. KC built best ball teams. Again, maybe not redraft leagues unless he falls to round 10 in a redraft league. I can't imagine, even though I'm not really answering that question yet, I want the dust to settle. I'm merely speaking to best ball right now. I can't imagine myself passing on Kadarius Toney in the 10.1 to 9.8 to 10.1 range in a redraft. I can't. Right now, I can't imagine. If more news breaks that his injury is going to keep him out week 1, or they go, oh, we're not sure if he's going to need another surgery, then we all come back in and we say, Sky Moore to the moon, and then it's about did we get enough shares of him before he climbed to the 7th round or 6th round territory? Because I'll tell you right now, Sky Moore would climb into the 6th round if let's say Kadarius Toney was going to have surgery and he couldn't play ball. Hang tight for me, Rodney, real quick. 620 caller, where are you calling from, and what's your name, pal?
I'm calling from Kansas. My name's Johnny.
What's up, Johnny? Can you hang tight for me, Johnny, while I circle around the phone line here? I'll come right back to you, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
Johnny from Kansas. We'll call you Johnny Kansas. I like that. All right, Johnny Kansas, hold on. Let's go over to Scared Scott, who's got to be trembling at this point right now.
I can't wait for this. Tony's, I think, still, you're right. He's been going around late 7, early 8 in redrafts. So I think late 8, 9, as long as he's your 4th receiver, I think it's okay.
Wow. Scott?
Or your
Scott, are you in trouble? Scott, cough if you're in trouble. Scott, act scared if you're in trouble.
And what I also would like to request is Ron Navy's top 12, his first round of his karma rankings.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Ron Navy, if Ron Navy calls this Patrick Mahomes injury off karma, we're going to have an off-season segment where we say, who's got the most karma, reverse karma, negative karma in the bank, and then we'll have Ron do his rankings.
But the redraft that I'm currently in, the first overall pick has taken 8 consecutive wide receivers to start the draft.
That's bad karma. That's bad karma.
He took a tight end and a quarterback, and he took his first running back is the guy that backs up Najee in the 11th round. And I thought that was different. The karma ranking is just as different.
Yeah. All right, Scott. I don't know where you're going with that, but okay. Isaac says, "I'm a moon man, Smitty. Why didn't you tell me?" I don't know if Isaac was a moon man. Is Isaac a moon man? I don't think. Maybe Isaac isn't a moon man. Somebody said you were a moon man, so I was just taking on their word that you were a moon man. I guess Isaac isn't. Way to go. Was that Deckard again? Deckard, you keep screwing up on the show today, bro. It's just like this is error number 5. Deckard said you were a moon man. How the heck did you think he was a moon man, Deckard? Jamar Chase, 1.2 pick. I appreciate you, Deckard, by the way. Deckard's been super chatting anyway. Let's see here. Chase, Bijan, standard, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Again, I've answered this, Julio. If it's a 2 wide receiver league and 2 running back with a flex that could be a running back, so essentially you could start 3 running backs and 2 wide receivers. I'm taking Bijan. I'm taking Bijan because you only need 2 starting wide receivers. I'm taking Bijan. People can say whatever they want. I could care less. I'm taking him number 1 overall. I'm hoping that I can trade down. In your case, you got the 1.2, so it's a little bit better, I think, to potentially take him at 1.2 than 1.1 because you're going to get some looks, and I would certainly trade down to 1.3 if possible. You probably get him at 1.4, to be honest. You probably get him at 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, but like would I trade to 1.3 and move something up? I probably would. Julio, appreciate your super chat. Deckard, again, I appreciate you. I want you to know that. I'm sorry.
Hey, Smitty?
Yeah.
Smitty. Hey, we all need to send out prayers Decker's way, too. He sent prayers for my wife, but his wife is also she's going through chemo, so
really?
We need to send prayers way.
Oh, Deckard, I'm sorry, bro. Now I feel horrible. Deckard, appreciate you. I didn't know. Deckard, call in. Let's get you back on the phone line. Oh, Deckard's on the phone.
He mentioned it.
Deckard's still on the phone. Deckard, I apologize. Hey, Deckard.
Still on the phone.
You know what I'm going to do for you, pal? Okay, not only am I sending the entire family to the moon right now.
To the moon.
Good spirits here. Deckard, I'm presenting you right now with a never, ever have to take a lap ever again on this show card, and I'm going to send myself on a lap right now. I apologize.
Oh, dude, that ain't, that doesn't have nothing to do with the show, It's,
yeah, I know, but
no, it's all right, bro.
The vibe. I gotta reset the vibe. I don't want Ron Navy's karma raking. Putting.
I
can't afford.
I start picking up my Kirk
I've always believed.
I can't afford an injury right now.
Good. You put out good in the world, you can put good back.
I know.
I just believe that.
I'm just saying.
You put out negatives, you can get negatives back.
I just don't want Ron Navy's ranking. I don't want to be on Ron Navy's top 5 karma board. Deckard, prayers up for Deckard's wife, please, everybody. Miss Navy and Miss Deckard. Let's put some prayer emojis up. Let's see here. I'm sorry, Deckard, did you say something?
No.
Okay. Deckard, you never have to take a lap again on this show. You hear me?
I would like to hit you up with my top 10 percentage drafted for my underdog draft, so sometime.
All right, hit me with it.
All right, number 1 out of 72 teams. Number 1, Dalton Kincaid at 40%. You got Cole Kmet, 36. Breece Hall, 34. Joe Cigar Smoking Burrow at 30. Nathaniel Tank Dell at 30. Charbonnet at 29. Kenneth Walker, 26. Olave, 26. Sky Moore, 26. And tied at 10th, is Bijan, Mahomes, Rodgers, and Kadarius Toney.
I like it, bro. I like it. I think I'm around like 40 to 50% on Burrow. It depends on the series, because there's different categories for it. There's the season ones, there's the Superflex, there's like 5 different.
Yeah, I got all. Then there's a few puppies.
Yeah, I want to say in general I'm around like 35 to 40% on almost all of these guys, like on all my leagues, and I get a lot of people. I think I've got 60% on Bijan. On the current one, it might be 70 on the current like Palm series or whatever. But since that's mingled in with the season, I think Bijan's around 60 to 65. I think. I want to say Burrow. Actually, Burrow's around I think 50. So I've got high exposure to a couple players, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with. I have no qualms about it at all whatsoever.
Yeah, my top 7 drafted right there.
Yeah. What's this? I've got Bijan receipts, says Genius. I'm trying to save Smitty. I don't know what that means. You got Bijan receipts. I'm trying to save Smitty. What's that even mean, Genius? I don't even know how to read that. What's that mean? I might call the show to debate on Bijan hype train. I'm not buying. Call in. The phone line's open. You might call in. Why don't you call in? I don't understand what you're.
Call in at your own risk. Smitty will take your Bijan card away.
Yeah, I don't know what this.
now.
I don't know what this look is that you got here. Let's see. I like to tell the girls trying to sell me their OnlyFans. Falcons ran so much to protect Mariota. Oh, I've seen your comment before. Yeah, go ahead. Call in and school me. Fantasy explain me. I'm just waiting for it. Deckard says, "Oh, Deckard, thank you. Your future, I like your future self a lot better." Deckard, I can't sing on a lap for that comment. That's okay. Hey, the future self is me. So compliment taken. Probably because I was sending you on laps and everything, huh? My bad. Video of Rodgers to Wilson looks insane. I got that on my Instagram. Overcome, thank you for the super chat. Overcome celebrating 13 months. Wilson, A-Rod to the moon. Absolutely, bro. 100%. Such an amazing duo in the making. Tucker? Tucker says, thoughts on Cup or Hill at the... Oh, didn't I already do this one? I may have already gotten to the super chat. Hold on. Paul with the super chat says, ease up on the Mahomes hate. The guy was playing golf. No golfer ever gives autographs during competitive rounds. Literally rule for golfers, says Paul. I
was a celebrity golf tournament. They always do that.
It might have also been the tone, I think, is what Ron had a problem. I don't think it's... I'm not quite as hard on him as Ron. I don't think his career falls apart because of it necessarily, but I think, it is disappointing. It is disappointing.
If it was adult, I wouldn't have had a problem with it. The adults want autographs, and most of them take them out and they sell them to try to get money out of them. But kids are a different story. When it comes to kids, you have to. I mean, if you're not willing to go out of your way to make a kid feel good, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go over to. Let's go over to Dan again. Dan, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I'm just hanging out listening to you painting in a room that's about 140 degrees. But no, you answered my question and all. I got my scenario is kind of different. I've been in the same 10-man league for 10 years. This is my 10th year, and we got enough guys to go around too. We don't have to recruit anybody who's even feeling a little bit ill at first, But I do understand that, contemplating Tony and your guys' situation and all. But this is my 4th off season with you, and I love your energy, man. And I just want to say thank you and appreciate you. That's about it.
Appreciate you, pal. We got a 310 caller. Yeah, hang tight. 310 caller. What's your name?
No. Dwayne.
All right, Dwayne, hang tight real quickly, okay? 708 caller. What's your name?
Randy.
Randy?
Oh.
Okay. Hang tight for me, pal. All
Okay.
right, you said Randy, 708?
Yeah, or 574. 708-574.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Randy. Where are you calling from, Randy?
Chicago.
Chicago. Okay. All right. Let me swing back to you. And I'm sorry, the individual with the 312 area
Dwayne.
code, Dwayne. Okay, Dwayne. Where are you calling
Dwayne.
from?
Chicago too, baby.
Woo! All right, Dwayne. What could I do for you?
So hey, I got a question, and Smitty, I'm all set up with you already too, man. And we're gonna be on that
draft call.
That special. No, you helped me out with my draft, the Superflex.
Okay, awesome, bro.
So here's the deal, man. This is my first year doing the Superflex.
Real quick, Dwayne, hang on a second. John dropped his first super chat it tells me now if you're your first time ever dropping a super chat. So John P dropping a $2 hauler for the first time ever. Smitty approved, John. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dwayne.
So check it out. Superflex keeper league. And first time doing it, so obviously these guys, I believe, are going to go quarterback heavy. Mahomes is already gone as a keeper in our league. Justin Fields is gone. Josh Allen will probably go with the guy for the first pick. We got a lot of the major quarterbacks that are going to be gone. I think Lamar is going to be available. I'm just wondering, who should I be looking to pick as the fifth pick? And I am keeping Justin Jefferson. Or should I even think about keeping Justin Jefferson as opposed to Lamar, who is already on my roster?
I mean, here's the cold, hard truth. It's so hard to kick back JJ because he feels like in your redraft mind, you're just sitting there in redraft mode and you're like, he's the number one overall player. How can I throw him back? But Lamar's getting drafted over JJ every single time in a Superflex. Every single time. I'm sorry, Fields is gone. What other quarterbacks are available?
So Fields is gone. Mahomes is gone. Lawrence is gone.
Okay. Who's available? Who's available? I don't really care about who's gone.
Okay. All right. Available are Lamar. That's the only one I would consider with the fifth pick.
Okay, Burrow's gone. Burrow's gone. Okay.
Burrow's gone. Gone.
I mean, if Fields is gone, bro, and T. Law's even
gone.
I mean, the honest truth is Lamar is getting drafted ahead of JJ, like every single time. You know, in a Superflex,
the only one available is Herbert.
I mean, if you could guarantee to get him, but what pick do you have? You know, if you keep five, and so odds are that 5 picks go, Herbert's going.
I will get him because the guy that's got number one has Mahomes. I don't think he's going to go out and then Hurts is gone too.
Yeah, well, of course, Hurts is gone. You would have told me if Hurts was there. He's like the number 1 or number 2 overall player.
Yeah.
I mean, bro, I don't think you can pass on Lamar. I mean, you probably you could maybe get Chase or JJ back with that 5th pick, you know? And if you don't, you get Garrett Wilson. Lamar and Garrett Wilson is better than getting JJ, and who the hell are you going to get? Because Herbert's not falling to 5, bro. He's not.
Cousins.
You don't think so? Because the guys already got keepers, that got quarterbacks. Hurts and Mahomes are the 1-2 guys already.
Yeah, but what's the 3 guy got? What's the 4 guy got?
Yeah, I need to look
and on top of that, like, who says they're not going to take a quarterback again? It's Superflex, you know, to get Herbert and
that's my question. I mean, you think somebody that has like a Mahomes will go double bubble? I mean, they'll pick quarterbacks.
I don't know him, but it's a strategy that someone's going to potentially look at. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'd rather get Lamar and potentially, you know, like a Garrett Wilson, or maybe even you get Chase, than to pass on getting
Chase is gone. Chase is a keeper.
Okay.
Chase is a keeper too.
I mean, if you know your league, bro. If you think Herbert's going to be there, then keep JJ and go Herbert. But I can't talk you out of that. You know your league. If you know your league and these guys will not double down on quarterback, you've seen them draft before, you know what's going on, then by all means trust your gut. But I just know that in a draft, JJ's probably not going. And this is it's just a keeper league. Though. It's not a dynasty league. It's just a one-man keeper league.
No, it's just a keeper league. Yeah, and hey, just so you know, maximum 2 QBs on the roster only. That's the max.
Then
can't have any.
Then I'm definitely keeping Lamar. Hang one second. 863 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Smitty, it's Angus from Lakeland, Florida.
Okay, Angus, hang tight for me, my guy. Angus from Florida. Let me enter you into the system here, and then I love how you said that, like like I've been waiting for your call. I love it. I love it.
Fired up to be on the show, Smitty. Long-time fan.
Hey, appreciate you. Okay, Dwayne. I was talking to Dwayne, right? Dwayne, if it's a limited keeper league, I'm not going to emphasize JJ more than I need to. Because, you might get Garrett Wilson, you might get Gibbs, you might get Bijan, you might get somebody that's going to have just as much long-term keeper value as JJ, so that's not going to influence me here. I keep Lamar, bro.
So,
I take the 5th best player available when you're on the clock. And hell, bro, if you take Lamar and Herbert falls to you at 5, maybe you just take both of them.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, bro, it's a Superflex. That's the whole point of a Superflex is like who can have the 2 best quarterbacks, like.
So the picks in the first 4, these guys, 1 through 4, these are their keepers: Hurts, Devonta Smith, Stafford, and Burrow.
Okay. Hurts, Devonta Smith, Stafford, Burrow. Okay. Yeah.
First 4 picks.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, I'm telling you, man, I keep Lamar unless you can guarantee me you're going to get Herbert. Unless you can guarantee me you're going to get Herbert. I'd rather have Herbert and JJ than any other option. I'll admit that. So if you want to roll the dice on it, then I'm with you on liking that the most. But I just don't know that you're going to get it. Plus,
if I can get Herbert, if I can get Lamar and JJ, you do that too, right?
Yeah. I'd rather have Lamar, keep Lamar, draft JJ, than probably Lamar and Herbert. But that's just because I have questions about Herbert, and you already got once you already have the 1 quarterback secured, all of a sudden JJ's got more value to me than Herbert. If you didn't have a quarterback yet, I would draft Herbert. Hence why, I'm explaining it the way I am. But things change when you get that 1 quarterback. Then all of a sudden I'm looking at, I like Bijan, bro. I like Bijan. If you can get Bijan, if you could draft Bijan, and keep Lamar, I love that. Like, in a way, I almost want to tell you, why don't you keep Lamar and draft Bijan? Like, if Bijan or JJ fall to you for sure, that's the best combination. That might be better than Herbert and JJ.
In a PPR league.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a PPR monster.
Okay.
And don't Dwayne, don't think I'm ripping on you for saying that. I don't know why people say that. People say, but in PPR you take, like, as if that's a negative for Bijan. They're moving him all over the field. This guy's gonna catch 50 plus passes, bro.
But he hasn't played his first down in the league yet.
So did Adrian Peterson. Never played a first down before he played a first down.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? Like, we can't just we're in the prediction business, bro. We play in the prediction world. We're not, who plays for last year? Like, people that like make, bets on teams. And I always go into those like betting rooms on Clubhouse and Spaces on Twitter. And I go in there and I just listen to these people. And sometimes I interject and you hear people talking about only last year. No one's forward thinking when they're talking about like betting and stuff. They don't know the player movement. They don't know the upside of a Gibbs for the offense and how it's going to change. They're just like, Detroit did this last year. They're going to be that this year. Bijan Robinson and the Falcons. I don't know if I like it because they're not looking at everything like we are. The Falcons are the best landing spot, period, for Bijan at the end of the day. All right, hang tight, Dwayne. You can stay on the phone line. Let's go over to Randy, your neighbor. I don't know if you can hear Dwayne talking next door or anything, Randy, but you guys. What's up?
All right, so I'm in a 12-team PPR league. I got offered picks 36, 37 in exchange for pick 17, and I'm picking out of the 108.
Okay, let me hold on a second. 36 Okay, so this is first round, second round, third round, fourth round. So you're talking about this pick and this pick. The 3.12 and the 4.1 for what? 17?
For pick 17. So I'm losing pick 17. Yeah. I'm gaining pick 36, 37. Losing pick 17.
I'm going to tell you to take it because, bro, what if you get... I mean, you're going to get Burrow and Gibbs in a worst-case scenario. You're going to get Gibbs and Walker in an awesome scenario for double RBs. You're going to get London and Watson. You're going to get London and Gibbs. You're going to get Walker and Gibbs or Walker and London. Like those are two players that I mean, even if this was St. Brown, let's make it worst case scenario for us that you live to regret seeing this name pop up at 17. You're like, St. Brown, are you kidding me? He I can't believe he fell. I didn't know I was going to be able to get him. Let's put ourselves in the worst frame of mind. I still take it. I still trade just St. Brown for London and Walker, for Gibbs and Walker, for Burrow and Walker, for Burrow and Gibbs. 1,000%, bro. If I got that right. I don't know if I got it right, what you were saying.
Yeah, but I mean, this league that I'm in, these guys are really QB hungry. So, I mean, like Hurts and Allen are probably going to go around 10 through 16. So I'd be missing out on guys maybe like Garrett Wilson or Olave.
Yeah, but 17. you could still get London, and if you don't get one of the quarterbacks, you get Gibbs and London.
So you're that high on London?
Well, I mean, throw in whoever you like there. I mean, let's throw in Christian Watson. Let's throw in Calvin Ridley, like Deebo Samuel, like whoever you like. I mean, just process, not player. Who do you like at wide receiver of all the names I just mentioned? And do you like them with Jahmyr Gibbs? Because I smashed that all day long, bro. And I don't look back.
I think I'd be able to get Gibbs, Olave, Ridley, all those guys.
Bro,
so.
What? I mean, it's a no-brainer.
I got another question for you.
Let me make it one spot easier for you here. Let's pretend that CeeDee Lamb, who's a first rounder, falls to this pick. I still do it. I don't care if you're on the clock and Lamb or AJ Brown are sitting there and you go, maybe I should rethink this. I'm going to say, no, you don't. You do that trade. You do it right now. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't even care if it's Tyreek Hill. Like, I'd trade Tyreek Hill, the number 4, number 5. I'd trade Cooper Kupp for the two players you're going to get here.
Yeah. So would you take, at the 32, would you take Gibbs and then hope Burrow and someone else fall to the 36, 37?
I'll be honest.
Or would you take Burrow first?
I'll be honest. I'd be like a kid in the candy store, and I wouldn't know what to grab yet. I'd just be walking around. You know what I mean? Okay. Like, I can't really tell you. Yeah. I'd have to be flow. What's your team look like? You know, who's falling? But in general, give me Gibbs and Burrow, and I'm literally like, you know, sprinting around, you know, the room. But and then give me Walker and Gibbs too.
Would it be psychotic to take Chubb at the 108?
Not psychotic, but you know, that's a little. Or I'd rather get. I mean, Bijan's there, and he probably will be, because that's where he's going right now. I'm getting him in the 11 and 10 pick right now on the regular on Underdog Fantasy, which we'll be drafting tomorrow night. Promo code Smitty. Link in the description of this video and every video. I'm getting him at 10 and 11. I'm sure Ron can confirm. He's literally. It's weird, Ron. He's falling further than ever. It's like, I don't understand. I don't get it, because in the real world he's climbing, and I'm not saying Underdog's not the real world, but you know, it does seem like it's a different universe, and it more of a good way than any sort of bad way. But I feel like I'm getting Bijan. I jumped in a bunch of slow palms, Ron, before they
me too.
Before they kicked off. And I literally, like 5 times in a row, got Bijan at between 8 and 12. I was like, what the hell? What's going on? So, bro, at 1.8, you either get Bijan or Garrett Wilson, without hesitation in my mind. And then you come back around with that 3rd and 4th round pick, and you still got your original 3rd round and 4th round pick, right? So, what are you walking out with? You lose the 2nd rounder, okay? You come out with Bijan. In round 3, you get Burrow, and you said you think you get Olave? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
with your ADP and where you're drafting. And then in the fourth
round,
round,
I just know all these guys really well.
Okay, so do you think Fields or Burrow will be there in round 4 for you then, if they're quarterback hungry? You said.
We are from Chicago, so I feel like Fields will probably go a little earlier. But I
that sucks.
At pick 41, Burrow, Lamar, and Fields, one of those guys will be there for sure.
So let's take Burrow out of this third round pick then, and let's call this Gibbs, and let's call this. I'm gonna do something a little different here than most people would, because I love Dotson. I love, I was gonna say Kadarius Tony. I now like Kadarius Tony. I don't know if I love him, but I like him in the 10th round. But look at this team: Bijan, Gibbs. You took Gibbs early in the 3rd round. Let's say Bijan, Gibbs, Olave, Burrow, Walker. How do you not smash with that team? You don't want Walker there. You can take Ridley. You could take Christian Watson, and maybe in the 3rd round here, you have to take Ridley here and Gibbs there. So let's say your league doesn't know what time it is with Gibbs. I mean, whatever way you got to work this ADP, Burrow, Gibbs in 4, Olave, Ridley in 3, Bijan in 1, you walk straight to the bank.
Yeah. All right. I like your analysis on that.
All right, hold on 1 second. I think Future.
I think you need to catch up on super chats.
Yeah, I think Future Smitty would approve of that as well. I think he'd be on board. John dropping his second super chat and third super chat of all time. He dropped 3 in a row. He dropped one $2 hauler, another $2 hauler, and then a question right here. He says, "What rumor do we drop for ETN stock to drop?" I think John wants to spread some kind of rumor. I guess you could spread the truth if you want, bro. If you're in your league, you could potentially kick out the rumor that they want to dial back his rushing. I mean, you could just use the truth, honestly, to influence and Tank Bigsby, that they're really high on Tank Bigsby. But in general, I'm not scared to the point where I won't draft him. But to be honest with you, he's a not all your eggs in one basket guy. He is a player you don't want all your eggs in one basket. Not that I don't love him, bro. I absolutely love ETN. I have to own ETN in at least one league. Just like I still want to own Barkley, even with the risk of him holding out. Every day Barkley holds out, the more likely, and he's not really technically holding out. He's not under contract, but he's sitting out and not coming to sign his deal. Every day he sits out, the more likely he is for injury. But I still want Barkley because I think Barkley could explode. But Barkley's a risk right now of getting hurt. ETN's a risk of potentially getting hurt, and the workload divide. There's risk everywhere, but I still love ETN. But you could use the truth to kind of drop his stock, I think, if you were trying to get creative like that. That's kind of, I don't know if you're going to land on Ron Navy's karma list if you start trying to pull fast ones like that. We'll have to see. I've been landing Bijan. What, Ron?
ETN's ADP's been falling in an underdog. He's been falling.
Yeah.
As other players moving up, he's been the one player that's been kind of going down.
I've been landing Bijan, Wilson, and Olave in 95% of my 10-man mock draft. Swing for the fences. Bijan, Garrett Wilson, Olave. I absolutely love that trio. And you might even get Olave. If this is ESPN, bro, I'm not sure if it is, but you're getting Olave sometimes in round 4 in a 10-man league. So keep an eye on that. Don't always be the one to grab them and kind of test it out and let somebody else grab them. We all have a tendency in this community to go after certain players, and there's a real chance, just like me with Walker, I'm going to admit to you guys right now, last year I couldn't contain myself. And when I was in a draft, I would take Walker ahead of where I should have every time. Even though I was still getting him in steal territory, like round 8, 9, 10 or whatever, you could get him in like 10, 11, 12 or wherever, depending on the time of year. And I could never test it out because I'd get too excited. I'd see him there around 9 and I'd go, I got to do it now. And I'd hit the button. And I never really knew in a draft I was in. I never really knew where his ADP truly was. So be a little mindful of that. Try a mock draft overcome and see if in a 10-man, if he'll fall to round 4. If it's ESPN. It's crazy. But if he's fallen to 3, I imagine maybe you could push it in a mock or 2 and see. If not, he's a great 3rd round pick, obviously. Walker and Gibbs, I bet you fall to you half the time in these situations too. Overcome, appreciate your super chat. Overcome says Penny or Swift. Give me Swift all day long. I'm not saying there isn't appeal for both of them. Penny's very talented. And, it's just a matter of both of them are very injury prone. And, you just got to pick your poison because they both have some of that negative and positive, type of feel to them. So no, there's no real right answer right now. And Dwayne dropping a $10 hauler says, or he drops a pear sticker emoji jumping up and down saying #1 fan. Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate you doing that while you're on the phone line, multitasking like a monster. $10 hauler. Moonshot for you. Okay, there are several people on the phone line. Let me circle around. I think we had Angus from Florida, and then Ethan. Ethan the negative is on hold. Angus from Florida. What can I do for you? You what?
Yep. You still got the guy from Kansas.
He hung up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Smitty, doesn't this Tony news, doesn't this make him even more of a moon man? Am I wrong on that?
Is this Angus?
He's dropping in the round.
Is this Angus?
This is Angus.
Okay, it sounded too positive for negative Ethan, so, okay. Look, this is exactly what I said when I came on the live stream, Angus. I said that just like the Walker knee-jerk reacting people did when Charbonnet landed on roster, and we're all a party to that initially, at least. But it was for me and everybody that was diehard Kenneth Walker.
I mean, Smitty, it was jarring. When I read it, it was jarring. I agree.
Right. So, like I said, if you were a true Kenneth Walker believer and supporter, even you were a little jostled when Charbonnet landed on the roster. But after about 5 minutes of digesting it, we clear-minded and clear-headed people, we said to ourselves, wait a minute. How far is he going to drop? Because I really don't feel like Charbonnet is more than a cuff. He's an amazing cuff. He's a win-a-league cuff. Meaning that if you draft Walker, the only move is to grab Charbonnet at all costs, no matter what. I want people to understand that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You draft Walker, you should be ashamed of yourself if you don't take Charbonnet. Your mother will be ashamed of yourself. My mom's ashamed of you if you don't cuff the two together. Don't miss the boat on it. But at the same time, it's like we know that Walker's as talented, if not more, and so he's not going to just get nudged aside. And so we had to come in, and Dwayne from Chicago joined and just left. Dwayne, call back in if you want to join again. If Kadarius Toney falls to the 10th round instead of the 6.5 territory, I'm like you. I'm really like, wait a minute.
6.5 is rich for Tony. That's a lot of rich
right.
For Tony.
Right.
And I love him.
Right, but 10? Is that too?
No, that's perfect.
Right, is that too much of an adjustment, a market adjustment? I say yes for right now. If he's got to find out.
Maybe so, but are you finding any league winners, potential #1s in that range besides him?
No, that's why I love it. But the one caveat would be, I just want to make sure we're all letting the dust settle a little bit before we go all eggs in one basket. Because what if it comes out that he retore something, they're getting a second opinion, and we're like, oh God, a second opinion report just posted yesterday, or today, or late tonight, and then we got to read, so let's pump the brakes. Let's be very mindful and stay on the news.
Smitty, as far as I'm concerned, he's not hurt seriously, and he can still walk on that field, like you said. When he's out there, he's a 1.
So
as far as I'm concerned, he's going to be out there.
That's why you sound like a very invested Kadarius Toney owner, by the way, which I appreciate, and I don't understand where you're coming from.
You got a lot of stock in this young man.
I know, I can tell, and that's why I'm saying I'm using my psychology that I went to school for to assess that you're a little over-invested. But I'm here to calm you a little bit, calm the storm, and say
I'm not angry, Smitty, I promise.
No, I know. I'm not angry either. We both yell. This is both our resting face and resting voice. What I'm trying to tell you, Angus, is I agree with you. 10th round right now feels like an overreaction, knee-jerk reaction market, too extreme decision. And for me, I'm still in at 10th round value. Now in redraft at 9.1, that's a very different story than let's say 10.4. It's a big difference. At 9.1 a redraft, I'm still needing to digest it and look into it and investigate it. But in 10th round and redraft, I'd take him. 10th round, I'm in. 10th round, I'm in, no matter what the format is. Who's in
the 9th round that you're taking? Who's got a higher ceiling than him in the 9th round?
Well, it just depends. I mean, 9.1, let me pull up the ADP, and I'll tell you exactly what what we'd be looking at. So in 2023 ADP, you're looking at probably, what does 9th round put us at, Ron? Do the math real quick. Give me a number. That's let's see. That's probably let's do it like let's do it like the beginning. Let's just say at like 100. Let's put it at like 110. So at 110 overall, you're talking about do you need a quarterback? Do you need a tight end? Do you need someone around that territory? So 9th round,
Elijah Mitchell.
I could see somebody wanting McKinnon or Elijah Mitchell over him, but it is getting kind of thin. Like 9th round is still potentially a pretty good place. Anywhere in the hundreds is a pretty good place. Charbonnet falls to like 100 overall sometimes. So I think it's like, it just depends on if there's one of those guys there, a Conco or Kincaid, and you need a tight end very badly. Aaron Rodgers and you waited on a quarterback. I'd rather have Aaron Rodgers in that scenario. But 9th round is where that line in the sand kind of starts to emerge to where you're right. I mean, Angus, at some point in the 9th round, I'm probably like, I'm taking him. I don't give a crap.
Gotta take your shot,
I'm taking him, and I'll take Sky Moore. Obviously as much as I can. All right, Angus, hang tight real quick.
Yeah. So go ahead.
All right, let me go over to Ethan the negative and see what he's negative on today. Ethan, I'm sure it's on Tony.
Smitty, first I thought I'd show some compassion and wish Ridley the best with nothing but the best with his mental health. I won't address the controversy anymore.
There's no controversy anymore.
Then I'll, what was it? I've been researching Ritter, and it looks to me like he's got a frame, what is it, 6'3" or so. He's really skinny.
Hey,
right?
hey, real quickly, can everybody mute that's not talking right now? Somebody's phone's getting some reverb, even if you don't have the show on in the background. The speaker is like feeding into the mic, and it's just going like, so if everybody could mute real quick. Okay, Ethan, go ahead and continue to be negative. I'm sorry.
Well, he did look like a Mariota clone, but he's got this frame that if he fills out, someone like Mayfield or Keenum, they're kind of peaked in terms of like, I mean, it did look like he's got like an Alistair Overeem 205 build, right? If he gets some Badger milk or something, who knows? And I heard he is putting on weight, but in terms of the decision making, the throwing, maybe a little bit better than Mariota. But I'll say this, because of his frame, if all of a sudden he fills out like, well, we had a quarterback, at post-3 surgeries that lost 30 pounds, not saying any names, you know what I mean? But, yeah, that's what I'm getting from it.
What's the point here?
What's
the point here, Ethan?
Well,
I'm
a little down on him. I have a piece of evidence, you can YouTube Ritter throws the ball to my girlfriend. You can pull that up right now. That's Exhibit A. Just bringing in a little negativity. Not saying it isn't possible, but
last year, what do you expect from a rookie?
Hey, I'm just saying what I see.
Ethan, what rookies ever look beautiful their first year? Not very many, especially quarterbacks.
Yeah, even you remember Joe Burrow struggled his rookie year, bro. I mean, like, I'm not saying he's Joe Burrow. Look, if he was the next Joe Burrow, I'd be telling you he's the next Joe Burrow if I thought he was the next Joe Burrow. I don't think he's the next Joe Burrow. Okay, but what I will say is, you were probably, even though you won't admit it, and you say that you were behind Jalen Hurts, I highly doubt it. You say you were, but I highly doubt it. You probably doubted Jalen Hurts. You probably doubted Josh Allen. You probably doubted every person that has never looked amazing their rookie year, and you took no consideration into their improvement or their molding and sculpting or their offensive coordinator or the fact that you're comparing Mariota and Ritter. They're not even the same. Mariota didn't even throw the ball. He just ran the ball. He was a gadget quarterback. He didn't throw the ball at all.
Even Mike Mayock, that was his comparison.
I don't care what Mike. You're on my show. Who cares about Mike Mayock? You think I think Mike Mayock's better than I am? You're on my show. Why don't I just watch his show? Why don't I pack it in and stop putting videos out there and go watch other people? What are you talking about? You let me decide.
Mayock,
Bring up the.
I don't need to bring it
Ritter
up.
throws to my girlfriend.
I don't need to bring it up.
Yes, do it.
No, I'm good. I'm good. All I'll tell you is Ritter's got a chance to prove himself, and I'm not saying he's the next elite quarterback, bro. But what are you getting at? Is this you hinting at why you don't like Bijan Robinson? Is this, you just think
no, I like Bijan.
Okay,
I like Bijan. I think Arthur Smith is going to get fired, though.
Okay, but
that's coming.
Nobody's drafting Ritter to start for them. So what's the point here? Are you trying to knock on London? Like, what is your point? Because like this is like you don't like Ritter. No one loves Ritter. You know, it's Ritter's like, is he good for the offense? I think he's good enough for the offense. I think he could be Jared Goff. You know, maybe not Jared Goff this year, because Jared Goff this year is wearing an absolute, Superman cape as he walks out there. This is going to be the season of Jared Goff. But in terms of like what are we talking about here, bro? Like, are you down on London? Are you throwing Pitts in the trash can? Like, what are you trying to say?
Well, I'm throwing. I don't think it's going to work out for Arthur Smith. I mean, last year there was a lot of games that were. I mean, you take that Saints game. It's something you just have to bake in.
No, they don't have to bake it in. They beat the 49ers. They only two games did they lose by over 10 points. What are you talking about?
You have to bake in the Tony injuries.
I don't have to do anything.
You're doing that. Now you have to bake in Arthur Smith.
I don't have to bake in Arthur Smith. I love Arthur Smith for the run. They're gonna fire him. They're gonna fire him after he has the best rushing attack in the National Football League this year. Get out of here, bro. Come on.
What if Pitts has another Allen? You remember Allen Robinson? On repeat.
No, Allen Robinson compared to Pitts. They're not. One's a wide receiver, one's a tight end. What are you talking about, Ethan? Ethan, you're grabbing at mud and just throwing it on the wall, bro. You're not even looking. You're not even aiming. You're closing your eyes. You're throwing a bunch of mud at the wall.
The community was losing it with the Pitts. The memes were crazy. It was like they were like in denial. They're like, "I'll do it again. I'll start him again."
Ethan.
You're not watching the game. You're not watching the game. Pitts was open many times with Mariota just overthrew him and didn't give him the ball.
Ethan, are you a banker or an auditor?
I just want to know if he's a Falcons fan.
What do you do for a living? I'm curious. You don't have to tell me where, but just like, what do you do?
I'm a production worker.
Production worker. You sound like you're an auditor and you're just looking for like cracks everywhere, holes, or you sound like a politician or something.
Ethan, are you a Falcons fan?
No, he can't.
Oh, no, I'm a Packers
he's
fan.
A Falcons fan.
You're a Packers fan.
But I think Bijan's great. We've seen him many times, great situations,
Okay, Ethan, this is no going nowhere. I don't even know what we're talking about here. Hang on, Ethan. You can think of something else negative, and then we'll circle back around. Charlie, you're live. Charlie, my guy.
I gotta go. So have a good one, Schmitty.
All right, hey, Ethan, we appreciate you in some way, shape, or form. I want you to know that. You and Scared Scott are, I think, father and son. But we do appreciate you, and when you're gone, we kind of like, it's kind of like that kid in class that annoys everybody and he's absent. You're like, kind of miss him,
Yeah.
All right, later, Ethan. All right, later. I swear. Charlie, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, I agree with you on Arthur Smith. He's a good coach. He kept them in games. Tony, I didn't listen to your whole show, but I listened to enough of it today to realize what you're saying about Tony these days. He's worth the pick in the 9th or the 10th or whatever. And I'm telling you now, don't draft the guy.
Well, I mean,
know it's not popular with you. I understand. I will say this. I understand the attraction to him because because he's so flashy and the guy's dynamic. But he cannot stay healthy.
I mean, we all know that though, and none of us know for certain if he's going to stay healthy or not. The bottom line is this. This is my point on the entire show. Let me put this caller on hold 1 second. 847 caller, what's your name and where are you calling from?
Chicago.
John from Chicago. Got a lot of Chicago. We got a lot of Chicago people here tonight. Okay, hold on.
Chicago people on the show, yeah.
Yeah, John from Chicago. Thank you for calling in, John. Hang tight real quick while I answer this or talk about this with Charlie.
All right.
Mute if you could, just for the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
It's windy there in Chicago. That phone's going to like... We got a lot of Chicago people here tonight. We got a lot of Bear fans. Let me just tell my Chicago people that Justin Fields is going to be 1-4 quarterback bound this year. I don't know if it's going to be Josh Allen that he knocks out or what, but I'm starting to feel 1-4 vibes with Fields, and I think I'm gonna have another video on Fields because I'm just getting sick and tired of seeing the Fields doubt. And I know that a lot of my
Patrick Mahomes is who's gonna knock out.
Yeah, according to Ron, Mahomes is gonna be on the shelf in 6 weeks. So, okay, Charlie, my thing is this, and I don't know if you missed this part of it. 9.1 is where I feel the worst case scenario is for Tony. That means he doesn't fall as far as we would want him to fall, and let's say he falls just to 9.1. And in that case, I'm not as into him. And it's like a Charbonnet's there, a Okonkwo or Kincaid, or I need Aaron Rodgers as my quarterback because I punted quarterback. So hold on.
Or Tony. Who would you take?
No, I'm taking Kadarius. I'm taking Kadarius Tony over Odell Beckham Jr. He's as injury prone as they come. I've higher likelihood that Tony plays more games than Odell. And Odell's already said this is his last year because he can't do it anymore. His body's not. You wouldn't say that if you felt like $1 million. Let me just tell you that. So Odell's obviously feeling like, okay, I feel quick. He looks quick, but he's probably saying to himself, "Good Lord, my recovery, the next day is god awful." When a player decides to hang it up when they still look like they have it, it's because they're starting to notice their recovery days and they're not bouncing back as quickly. And that's when Terrell Davis said that during the middle of a game when he was running and he was balling out and he was going to continue to ball out in not his final game, the final game in his mind of when he fell off. He said he was in the middle of a game, Terrell Davis, for the Denver Broncos, and he was having a killer game. And he knew in the middle of the game, while he was still doing well, that his body was not going to recover the next day or 4 days from now, and he'd be crawling into the next week, and he just knew that he wasn't going to be able to do it. Same thing with Odell, I think. So let me get to my point real quick. 9.1 in redraft, I don't know that it falls in the territory of smash. But if he falls to the 10th round in a redraft, smash. Probably to an extreme degree, too. I don't think this is a case of like one league. I think I'd take him in 3, 4, 5 leagues out of 10 because there's nobody around 10, bro. You're talking about Jacoby Myers and Jamal Williams and Darnell Mooney and Greg Dulcich and Rondell Morse. Some of you might like those guys. Jared Goff. Like I said, Kincaid or Okonkwo. If I need a tight end, I'll go that route instead. Russell Wilson. I don't want Russell Wilson. I'd rather draft Jordan Love as my backup, and I'm certainly not drafting Wilson to start. Gallup, give me a break. Tank Bigsby, I like him. Don't get me wrong, but I'd throw Bigsby back into the player pool to get a shot at Kadarius Toney. So in 10th round territory, bro, that is what we're talking about, and it's a smashed almost every time. Even if you told me there's a 25% chance he would stay healthy, I would still take that chance.
Let me ask you this. You play in a lot of fantasy football leagues. How many times in the last 2 years did you own Tony or waste waiver wire priorities and pick him up just for the guy just to get injured, hamstring in practice, and then linger around for 2-3 weeks, not know if he's going to play? Will you burn from him with those?
Yeah, but that's a very general, like, you can't just like fly at the seat of your pants type of thing like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to sway me. Like, the truth is, what do I feel? Do I feel there's a shot he's going to stay healthy or not? I'm not going to be like, did I draft him last year and did he burn me? Look, Swift burned me last year, but his risk is baked in, I believe, in enough not to take in every round. Swift has
had a healthy season though.
Swift and
he didn't
have a health. He's
never been healthy. His most games he's played is 9.
I know,
and
but
one or two of those games he played a couple plays.
Bro, what I'm trying to explain to you though is Tony in round 10 makes all of that okay. Tony in round 10 makes all that okay.
No way. I would rather draft take a flyer on a quarterback. On another quarterback.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with it.
Running back.
There's nothing wrong with it. The difference between
that can that can actually help your team and you can play at times.
Well, that's your
versus Kadarius Toney.
opinion. That's your opinion that Tony's not going to help your team, and you feel very strongly about that. I can tell. But the difference between your opinion and mine right now on this topic is I understand yours. You don't understand mine, and I'm okay with that too. I'm not mad at you over it.
I
but
told you I get their traction.
I know, but you're going to be.
I've owned him so many times in my league.
But don't take this the wrong way. I don't mean this in a bad way at all. But you are closed-minded on this topic to the point where you're telling me something's going to happen. You don't really know.
Yeah, he's off. Yeah, that's true. To me, I would take Tony with my last pick as a dart throw.
Okay, and I'm okay with.
That's where I would drop him.
And I understand why you're not going to take him around 10. I understand it, but all I'm telling you is from my angle, I just think differently. It doesn't mean, like I said, I could go Kincaid, Okonkwo, Aaron Rodgers. If I needed a player like that, I could go that direction for sure. But I'm just telling you, where my line in the sand is round 10. I'm looking at it right now. At the end of round 9, I don't see anybody unless it's Okonkwo, Kincaid, Aaron Rodgers. Let's say you had Najee and you wanted to cuff Jaylen Warren to him. Like, all those things make sense. But I am not passing on Kadarius Toney, who could be a top 12 wide receiver if he did stay healthy, over a Adam Thielen or a KJ Osborne or a Gerald
Richardson.
Everett. You know what I'm saying, bro?
10th round, you already have your quarterback, you already have your team. You could pick Anthony Richardson or Tony.
I'd take Anthony Richardson probably because I could trade him away for a lot more, and that's a guy that shouldn't be there. He's not going to be there. You're giving me a guy that's not going to be there. Anthony Richardson.
I think that's his ADP. Depending on where you're at, he's around that.
He's going maybe around 9, but around maybe 8, 9, but not 10. 10 is where I'm telling you it's a lock. It's a lock. He's not. Anthony Richardson's not going around 10. Charbonnet, Sky Moore. Like, Sky Moore's the interesting question. That would be the one you should be throwing at me, is saying, hey, if Sky Moore's there and they're both going at the exact same ADP, who you taking? That's a dilemma. Because Sky Moore, now Rashid Rice is in the picture, Richie James, you got Justin Ross. Justin Ross is a very, very good pick. You can't cuff everybody if let's say Sky Moore.
What about Jarrett McKinnon?
I like McKinnon more. I did say that one. I like McKinnon more.
Okay, what about Clyde Edwards?
I mean, no, I don't. But we could go back and forth on every single player. But I'm just telling you, there's very few players. McKinnon's going to go a lot higher than I think where we're talking 9th round. Like, Khalil Herbert could fall and McKinnon could fall to the 10th round. And if they did, I would take both those guys over Tony most of the time.
Okay.
You know, it just depends. All right, hang tight for me. I know that's tough to digest there, Charlie. But
did you report? I know it's not an offensive player, but did you report on Broncos defensive end gets suspended for at least a year for betting?
No, we didn't. Were there any other players tied to it? Because sometimes that ends up perking up right after, and I just want to. But yeah, I mean,
hey, Smitty, you have a great show. I appreciate it.
All right, later, Charlie. Appreciate you.
You Wazuriki suspended.
These guys. I mean, I don't know how these players don't learn. I don't understand if maybe this is a delayed investigation or if he did it after. If he did it after, what in the hell is he thinking? Like, unbelievable. John from Chicago. You are live, but hold on one second. Let me put this caller on hold. 530 area code. Who am I talking to? Where are you calling from? Cole from Austin, Texas. My guy. Hang tight, Cole. Let me get over to John, then I'll come back. Cole, for you. John, go ahead.
Sounds good, brother.
Hey, so I'm in the 6th spot, right, in my draft. 10-man Bijan train all the way. Something, interesting that I'm liking to see is a Garrett Wilson Rhamondre. But the thing is,
you said Rhamondre and who?
Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
But the thing is, we got those double bye weeks, but I'm personally one that doesn't really care. I don't know actually how much that affects it, right? But after that, I'm like, where do I go from there? Who? And if you think those first two guys are bad, what are your thoughts on that?
You're saying Garrett Wilson in round 2 and Bijan in 1. Is that what you're trying to map out?
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, I could care less about bye weeks. They mean nothing to me. They mean absolutely zero. because you're either going to bleed out slowly or you're going to bleed out all in one, 1 week. Like it doesn't matter.
Right.
I do not. Yeah. The only time a bye week comes into effect is if you have, let's say, 2 starting quarterbacks and they both have the same bye week. Clearly there's an issue there, but I could care less. If anything, I've had leagues where I literally had everybody on a bye. My opponent had it worse, and my opponent had injuries, and I somehow picked up like in McKinnon type players and put together a team that scored 90 points, and the opponent had 55 or 60, and I won the week, and now I'm stronger every other week. It's like you cannot let that affect whether you draft a Garrett Wilson or a different player or a Bijan and a different player. If you end up getting these 2 players, this is probably the best start you could possibly have in fantasy football. Because Bijan, to me, is arguably the 1 overall. I think he's 1, 2, or 3. And that's just my opinion. I again care less what other people say. And you're seeing a lot of other channels and people start to say, hey, I got a bold take. Bijan's the running back 1. Hear me out. And it's like now everybody's getting all on board this train. But Bijan, as a number 1, number 2, or number 3 overall player in my mind in redraft, especially in Dynasty. Garrett Wilson's a top 8 player. It's pretty hard to imagine you doing better than that. Okay, so if you do land that, that's insane. If you get St. Brown instead, that's amazing. You get Olave, I still very much like that. If I'm giving you, again, you got to go best player available. But if I'm giving you a general like feel, this is a very balanced approach. You can go in any direction you want. The most attractive, I guess, duo I can think of would probably be, this would be a little early for Gibbs, but I don't know that he's going to fall into the mid-4th round. You never know. You got to feel your own league out for that. But this would be like, this is like the 4 horsemen right here. The Bijan, Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Burrow, and it's an upgrade of the 4 horsemen. Because I have the 4 horsemen right here. The 4 horsemen we've decided is Bijan, Olave into Gibbs and Burrow. You're getting this upgraded into Garrett Wilson, which at the end of the day may or may not be an upgrade, because I think Olave is going to absolutely smoke everyone, and it's going to be amazing this year. So like you're getting the 4 horsemen. You're getting the 4 horsemen with a little tiny bit of an upgrade if you get this and pull this off. But let's say worst case scenario, you get Olave. I still think you pull this off. And if you wanted to go Fields in round 5, you might even have a better team, to be honest with you. And I love Burrow, but you go Walker and then you go Fields here. And this team right here, I mean, holy shit. You take Fields in 5, Walker in 4, Gibbs in 3, G. Willie in 2, Bijan in 1. You come back around and you get like a Dotson and Pickens, or, we've got other players that we pull out of our hat in the round 6, 7 territory. But like, I'm not scared to have 1 wide receiver in this string of 5 rounds. Like I literally don't care. I draft best player available. Right. That's how I'll always do it. I could care less what other people do. I do account for balance when I can, when things are equal, because it makes it a lot easier to make decisions later, and you're not forcing yourself to go, God, but this is absolutely phenomenal. This I like this slightly better than the Burrow team.
What are your thoughts on Stevenson over Gibbs?
I don't hate it, but I wouldn't do it. I would rather have Gibbs, but I don't hate it. I think there's too much going on right now in New England, where you've got Bill Belichick looking into multiple running backs right now. He's looking at Dalvin Cook. Right. Vegas had them as the odds-on favorite a week ago. I don't know what the odds are now of landing Dalvin Cook, and they don't sign him. What do? They probably lowball offered him like they did Hopkins, and everyone said, Hopkins is going. No, I told everyone the moment they took Devontae Parker, they moved on. And there's receipts for days of people coming in and saying, Smitty, you're going to be so wrong. They made the move to get Hopkins. BS. They moved on. There was a big lull and gap in decision-making. We said, hey, okay, we're not going to make any decisions right now. They waited. Hopkins didn't come. They signed Devontae Parker after a big gap in that conversation, that meeting that took place. So they probably lowballed Dalvin Cook. Who knows? And now they're going after Leonard Fournette. They're probably not done there. Like, what in the hell's going on? And Bill does, as we've talked about on the show before, even Ron Navy, I think, said this as well. Bill has a tendency to want to move on to the next running back at some point. I mean, Damian Harris was really good, and we all love Damian Harris. White was good. They've had a number of running backs. And as much as we love Stevenson, we have to understand that Bill Belichick is a different man. And the fact that Stevenson kind of ended the year in the doghouse with the fumbling, with the initiating that pitch play against the Raiders that took the chance away to go to OT, and basically the Raiders had a walk-off touchdown and lost the game. Even though he didn't throw the actual pass that was the fumble and the turnover, he initiated when Bill wanted him to down the ball. He caught the ball and he just decided to start a lateral fest. And Bill was so pissed about it. So, I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. Give me Gibbs all day long. Gibbs is a top 10 overall player in redraft. Nobody knows it. Yeah. And you better not take him in the top 10 because you're losing your opportunity to do that. I'm just telling you, in my mind, he's a top 10 player. Smitty, underdog, Palm, Superflex yesterday, someone took Justin Ross at the 20th overall. What? That's crazy, Collusion. Why would somebody do that? Maybe there's some sort of like challenge. Somebody said like you take Justin Ross.
Well, right now you're just getting people that just come in. I mean, we've been at best ball for months now, but the casuals are now flowing into the best balls.
That's
so
weird,
they're going to draft people in weird positions.
How often are we taking Kittle? Very rarely. I understand it, and I draft him in spots, but very rarely. Because to me, Okonkwo and then the wide receiver I'm getting where Kittle's going, I'd much rather have that. Walker, I'd take Walker, I'd take Gibbs, I'd take Burrow, I'd take Fields, I'd take any number of those amazing players we love, Watson, London, all those guys over Kittle, and then give me Okonkwo and Kincaid later. This is how, in my opinion, you win a league from the tight end position, is drafting the next top 5 guy. And everyone says, oh, it's so hard though, Smitty. It's hard to do. I mean, maybe it is. From year to year, you're not going to always land it, but this is one of my wheelhouses that I'm pretty decent at, in terms of getting the Waller and the Hawkinson, and I got a little proven track record behind it in terms of rankings against the industry. And I'm telling you, Okonkwo and Kincaid and Kmet and a couple other guys feel like, in Taysom Hill in some avenues, but especially Okonkwo, Kincaid, and Kmet very much feel like the highest likelihood of being outside the top 10, because they all are, and climbing into the top 5 or 6 for tight ends. So Kittle, to me, is just not somebody that I feel like cost of entry I love. Thank you, Dwayne, for dropping the $5 hauler. Once again, my boy Dwayne. And E-Rock dropping a $5 hauler. And Dwayne dropped another one, says, oh no, this was his sticker emoji. Appreciate you dropping that animated sticker. And E-Rock with a $5 hauler said, with Cooks and healthy Gallup in a change of coaching staff, is it possible Lamb takes a step back and isn't a top 6 lock like we think he is? We've talked about this a lot in the offseason, that I'm not down on Lamb, but I'm not drafting him very often. And that's because of a number of reasons. Number one, McCarthy is taking over play calling, and this has been a high octane monster passing attack. Whether they win, lose, or draw in the playoffs or crunch time, that's irrelevant. From a fantasy perspective, Dallas has been in the top 5 in terms of potent offenses for years. And now Kellen Moore goes over to the Chargers, and now McCarthy takes over play calling, and it's not like he's keeping everything the way it was. He's changing it, and he said we're going to run the damn ball. Very excited for Tony Pollard. I hope it all flows well so that Pollard isn't, hitting clogged up lanes because of the change, and they can't implement a good balanced passing attack because they're doing too much running. I think it'll probably be okay, but I guess my answer would be this, E-Rock. I don't think that Lamb's going to have a better year. I think Lamb will have, in a best case scenario, the same kind of season he had last year, but more than likely a little bit lesser. Doesn't mean I'm avoiding him. Doesn't mean he's a bust. Doesn't mean he can't be a top of round 2 like Gem. It doesn't mean he can't be neck and neck with St. Brown, who's going around the 12-13 turn. Doesn't mean that him and Olave and A.J. Brown aren't still very close in my eyes. But I agree with your sentiment here that if you're taking him at like 5 or 6 overall for wide receivers, that's an 8, 9, 10 overall pick, and that might not seem very, very far away from like 12 or 13, but it is in my mind. And I think when you're talking top 12, that is a significant amount of draft slots when you think about the percentage of movement if you're moving up or down. But I'm taking Garrett Wilson 10 times out of 10 over Lamb. I'm taking Bijan 10 times out of 10 over Lamb. And because of that, and because I know at least one of those guys, Garrett Wilson or Bijan, will almost 100% be available every single time you're in that dilemma, you're almost never going to draft Lamb. If you're me, doesn't mean I hate him. I love Lamb. I've a Get Lamb button on the show. We've always loved CeeDee Lamb here. We'll continue to love CeeDee.
Get Lambed.
But it's important to note that there's a big difference between, what I think the expectation is and what he'll probably deliver, which is still good value. It's just not going to be top 8 overall, or likely top 8, because they're going to be running so much. But I love Tony Pollard, and I'm very hopeful that the attack, the shift in, going more run heavy isn't as extreme as we think it might be, because I think if it is extreme, it won't work. And I want it to be efficient. And I want Tony Pollard to get 55 plus receptions too. So I don't need it to change. Like, Pollard can run for 1,100 yards, pull in 450 or 500 receiving yards, even more, get 55 plus receptions and 12 total touchdowns, and be a top 5 running back without really having to run the ball more, So I'm not like a proponent of, I hope all they do is run. You need balance, and CeeDee Lamb will stretch the field, and he looks good in the offseason right now. Dak looks pretty good. But it's the off season. They're in, no one's getting hit. They're not really scrimmaging, teams, and so we got to wait and see. I'm gonna cycle everybody off the phone line here because I'm gonna roll.
Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie, is Angus from Lakeland, Florida, still on the line?
Yes.
Yeah. What's up, buddy? Hey, I need to know something. This is my curiosity. Don't worry, I'm about to send you a super chat, Smitty, for this. But my curiosity. You're not from Lakeland. So are you from New England, New Jersey, or New York originally?
This is just my alias. I'm undercover. I got to use an alias on the phone. I'm C.I. Angus. Got to stay low key.
Yeah, I know, but what state are you from? You're not originally from Florida, so in New England, New Jersey, or New York?
Is my accent that good? Is my accent that good? I am from Florida.
Which one, though? My curiosity is killing me.
Boston.
Which one you from?
Boston.
Okay, all right.
I'm trying to do a Boston accent. I'm from Florida, Ron.
He's in witness protection, Ron. He's trying to be low key.
No, I know. Okay. All right.
Okay, hold on one second. So I see a lot of new viewers. Let's lock them in with a gift. I think Russian Collusion. Did Russian Collusion drop a gifted memberships? I didn't have that pulled up, and I don't know if anybody dropped it. Did anybody see that? Gifted memberships. Russian Collusion dropped 20 gifted memberships by Russian. Good Lord.
Where's mashed potatoes? Yeah, buddy.
Hold on. Let's see. I gotta hit this button here.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Ron Navy dropping a $20 hauler. There we go, Ron Navy.
Alert. Super chat alert.
Appreciate Ron Navy dropping the $20 hauler. I appreciate Russian Collusion. I appreciate Russian Collusion dropping the $5. If I missed any other gifted membership, I can actually look it up. Hold on. Gifted. Let's see. Gifted 10. Yeah, Russian Collusion. Appreciate you. I just wanted to check that. Super chats on the screen here. Thank you again, Russian, for that. Ron Navy, thank you for your $20 hauler. And I think I'm caught up on the super chats real quick. Let me circle around the phone line and get everybody off here. Blake from Minnesota, you got 10 seconds. Go.
I got nothing, Schmade. Just coming in here to listen to you.
All right, Blake. Appreciate you, my guy. Comment on the video after when we end it and ask a question, drop a whatever. Help. You can help that way too. I love that. So hit me with. I'm trying to get back to every YouTube comment I have in the first 48 hours of the video dropping. So if you guys want a question answered, just drop a question in the comments and I'll get back to you. Thank you, Blake. We'll see you later tomorrow. John from Chicago, final 10 seconds.
Algier handcuff necessary? Yes or no?
Yeah, to a degree. To a degree, why not do it? But if I'm getting McKinnon over Algier, I'd probably take McKinnon. I don't think
Right.
Algier's it's vital, but I'd rather have the McKinnon standalone value. But like if we get to a territory where, we're talking about, all backup running backs and very sketchy wide receivers, then sure. But I still think there's some value in like Charbonnet and McKinnon and Kadarius Toney now in double-digit rounds. So it just depends on where Algier is going. But appreciate you, John.
Okay.
Later.
Yeah, appreciate all your.
Yep. Angus from Florida. Final thoughts, 10 seconds. Go.
Yes, Smitty, I just wanted to soothe your mind on Tony. As long as that knee's intact, the ship's still sailing, baby.
Yep. All right, man. Appreciate you. 10th round. Let's go. All right.
Yes, sir.
Scuba, final 10 seconds.
Hey, Smitty, just wanted to say, man, thanks for all the content. And, yeah, that's it, man. I don't have any questions at this time. See you, man.
Scuba, see you later, pal. Appreciate you. Ron Navy.
No problem, man.
Final thoughts.
Yeah, I had to give the super chat because it was off topic, but my curiosity was getting to me. I knew he couldn't be from, Florida. That's not Florida. He had that Boston accent.
I mean, he was really going out of his way, though, and then Ron was pressing him. He's
Plus,
like,
remember earlier when you he's loud like me and you, and that's typical for the New England and New Jersey areas. They're just loud naturally.
you saying I'd fit in Jersey?
Yeah, you would. Except you'd have to learn their accent to really fit in.
Yeah. All right, Ron. I'll probably see you tomorrow unless news breaks. I'll go live tonight as usual. I'm live whenever news breaks. I'll see you later, Ronnie boy. Prayers
Later.
up. Prayers up for Miss Deckard and Miss Navy. Please drop 30 seconds worth of prayer emojis for both Miss Navy and Miss Deckard, who are both going through some stuff and they could use some thoughts. So please drop that. I will see you all tomorrow unless news breaks tonight. Appreciate every single one of my super chatting monsters tonight, from Ron Navy to Russian to Overcome to Dwayne, E-Rock, Dwayne, Overcome, John with the triple, John P, first time super chatter too, Paul Wolfer, Overcome, Deckard, my guy Deckard, Isaac, Julio Ferreras, Deckard again, Deckard's my boy, Vino, Terry Roberts, appreciate you Terry, Deckard, Vino, Rockout, Deckard again, Isaac, Deckard again, Tucker and Isaac, appreciate you all. And Anthony dropping a last minute, no, you don't leave, Smitty, $20 hauler.
Alert. Super chat alert.
He says, no, you don't leave, Smitty. We're dropping another 2 minutes on the show because of Deckard's $20 hauler. People that drop $20 are extending the show for another 2 minutes at least. Let's see here. Anthony says, took Brees over Garrett Wilson in a dynasty startup and regretting it ever since. Team is Fields, Anthony Richardson, Russell Wilson, Brees, Gibbs, Herbert, Watson. Don't fret over that, because when we talk about Garrett Wilson, number 8 overall, number 9 or 10, him and Brees in a dynasty are very, very close. And one could argue Brees is more valuable in some respects than Garrett Wilson in dynasty. I mean, if anything, bro, I could argue that Brees Hall is the number 2 overall running back. And you could say to yourself, okay, who are the top dynasty guys, Anthony? Number 1, Chase, JJ, Bijan, or Bijan, Chase, JJ, or Bijan, JJ, Chase. It's those 3, right? Those are the top 3 in dynasty, the top 3 in redraft for me. My redraft and dynasty top 3 are not different, despite everybody else out there. That is my take, and I'm going to stick by it, and I feel very great about it. And so after that, is it Garrett Wilson next? Is it Brees Hall? Is it Gibbs? Honestly, I think they're all very arguable. I'm not saying I take Gibbs there, but I feel like Gibbs could be there. And I'm not saying I take Garrett Wilson there, but Garrett Wilson could be there. I think Brees is probably more arguable to go ahead of Garrett Wilson than Garrett Wilson is ahead of Brees in a dynasty, but I'm on board. Both of them feel like almost equals to me. So don't fret about that, Anthony, at all. That ain't a big deal. I love both of them. So please stop thinking about it that way and get on your horse, because Brees to the moon, baby. Brees Hall is 10 feet tall. Oh, he's 8 feet tall. Maybe he's 10 feet tall now.
Brees Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Brees. He's Brees.
He does a hull of a job. A hull of a job. A hull of a job.
Brees Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a hell of a job.
Get Brees.
Appreciate you all. I'll see you later. Don't forget the show changes to 8 p.m. Eastern. That's 5 p.m. Pacific time until the time zone changes. But the 8 p.m. will always stay. So we'll always be 8 p.m. Eastern starting August 1. So time zones, obviously adjust accordingly. But 8 p.m. Eastern instead of 7 p.m. starting August 1. Appreciate you all. I'll see you later. Thank you for all the super chats and support. And please leave a comment at the end of it. And don't forget, Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. That link is in the description of every single video. And here is the link one more time for anybody that wants to draft with us tomorrow night. You have to hit this link. And if you haven't already, and get all signed up and ready to go. I'll see you all tomorrow night. I'm going to pin the link right now real quickly on the way out the door. Click that link and sign up on Underdog Fantasy. Minimum of $10. They'll double your first deposit up to $100. So grab that link right now. Get ready for tomorrow. We're going to be live drafting tomorrow. I'll probably do a Superflex draft if it's still out there. Peace out. Later, Deckard. You look at me, young man. You are never taking a lap on this show ever again. Deckard to the moon.
To the moon.
Deckard. Deckard is a unicorn.
He is a unicorn.
Thank you, Angus, for the $4.99 hauler. Appreciate you, my guy. And on that note, I am out of here. Angus to the moon. Hit that thumb up on your way out the door. Subscribe if you're new, and please leave a comment. I will answer almost every comment for the next 48 hours on this video. Peace.